the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Bonefish Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider. The caribou call.
Damn, I
Double
grabbed like I put a couple of these Denali Brew IPAs, the twisters, in the fridge that were from like a hunting trip a couple weeks ago.
Oh, they look banged up.
They still got some trail spice on the top of them.
Little meat juice,
like
maybe
grass.
some blood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'll just drink it, but
Adds to the flavor.
it does. It does.
Yeah, it's still good.
Now we're all double
Adds to
fisted.
I'm like, well, that's gross. What were you talking about there as I stepped away to grab those cold shots? You were saying,
John's PJ?
yeah, yeah, like maybe we were closing on it. I don't know. I was like, I had to up and go, but
Yeah, nothing important.
okay.
We're just talking how cool John Sturgeon is.
The coolest.
Yeah. He was actually, I felt like he was very comfortable and open and like it was casual and he
Good.
was like willing to discuss the topics that we, came across and it was
He's
like,
super open.
Yeah,
And that's
man.
like, he's one of those guys you could just sit down, swap stories with. And
Oh,
like
man.
a day wouldn't be enough.
no,
You know what I mean?
No, we
Yeah.
could like hang out, talk, go have dinner, come back, have a podcast,
I'm
and
like,
talk after
John, can you be my Alaska dad? I joke, but I'm like, seriously.
Well, anyone that's been doing it for like more than 50 years, you're just like, what a wealth of knowledge. Like you really can't tell this guy anything.
The fact that he's going, has a moose camp that he's been doing with the same group of dudes.
Yeah,
for that long.
40 years?
50,
Is that what he said?
52.
52
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
And it's
people
not
are
just
dead.
right around the corner. This is like up to Yukon, like way the
Yeah,
fuck
dude,
out
he's
there.
out.
Yeah. And shout out to the
That's
haters,
hard.
because there was this dude who hated on I posted the video on the John thing, and
Can we
John's
give the
like
haters some
spitting
love?
facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all he does.
And just straight facts. And some dude is like, you should read up on what you're talking about before you do. And I was like,
No.
bro, do you know even who you're talking to right here? Like, this is the facts guy.
He's the guy that puts out the report. Not officially, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's really in the know.
Yeah,
Trust that.
it is our I don't know what the word is, but we're not responding to haters. If you have some negative shit to say, you know what I'm saying.
I mean,
But if we
welcome
made a
it. We
mistake,
welcome
if you go ahead and leave your haterism. But if you have something we did mess up, if we say something
You'll
wrong,
acknowledge it.
yeah,
you know?
of course.
Oh,
If we
hell
said
yeah.
something wrong and something was right, and you correct us, or you have some more info, like today, like we were talking about the spearfishing, and then
Oh, that was
and then
great
AK
response, dude.
Mountain Man like sent us the link to like this is the season that on the
funny.
ADFNG,
Yeah,
and I like
brought the meat eater
reposted it.
dudes
Like,
out.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's
And
like
even I think same when John was here, you were talking about that Kodiak hunt where that guide over there, Cole Kramer, that veterans hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
it ended up being a Barney's pack that Kevin had like
Oh,
custom made
yes.
for him or
Totally. Yep.
something.
And we
you
thought it
know?
was an Eberly stock or whatever, and that dude corrected
Yeah.
us like, hey, man.
That's all good, you know?
yeah.
Reporting. what
No,
we
that's
know
not
here.
hating. I'm talking about hating, like dudes.
No,
that be
no, no.
hating.
What I think you're saying, you're welcoming on the corrections.
100%.
And
Yeah.
and like the proper information and
Yeah,
any
you can't
knowledge
get
and thing you
can't
can
get
share.
100% right all the time, you know?
No, and I
You
mean,
know,
we're talking on the mic for hours and hours and hours and hours
Half
and
the
hours.
shit is-
A lot of
Well,
times, and we're drinking beers. Like we're not like
And for the record, and this is not an apology. This is just the fact of like,
yeah.
it's holding a conversation and a subject and all the topics.
Yeah.
It's kind of challenging and it's a lot of fun, but sometimes things get a little
Blurred.
bleep, bleep.
That's okay. We're not perfect.
Anyway,
No one's
but-
perfect.
No,
You
it's
know?
good to acknowledge that though. I really appreciate when people have feedback like that.
Oh, the feedback,
when you
or if
text
you have a
those to
little
me,
bit
I'm
more,
like,
a
oh,
little bit
awesome,
more
dude.
insight on whatever it is we were talking about.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
and
I'm
that's
saying?
bound to happen. It's like you have
it's great,
people
though.
that are like experts in their field that come in, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that's what your guys' job is, to host those people and give them a platform to share with everybody else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's kudos to you guys. And I know I said this right when I first came in, but I'm just so excited to see like everything that you guys have done already. It's so cool. And I'm just like, yeah, I know Daniel. We grew up together. This is crazy. He used to be in
Yeah.
Arctic Flow, rapping and playing soccer and shit. And now he's doing pods and like out
Yeah.
crushing life. And it's really cool. I'm like, yeah, those are my buddies.
Yeah, that connection is
boys.
awesome, man. The history. I was just talking about that earlier. I
Yeah.
love that part.
And
So I
it's
just
funny.
got to meet you
Same.
through this,
Yeah.
really, and so it's like
May was
the
like, or
way it
the
brings things
sheep
together.
show. Sheep show was like our
Yeah.
first hangout, and you and
Yep.
Jack, and it was like that was just an easy fit. It felt like I've known you guys for a while too.
Yeah, I mean, it was
That was so much fun. Also,
it is really, and we've mentioned it 100 times over. My favorite part of this is the networking that it creates with like-minded people that what you love.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing you could ever do if you're trying to really network and bring people together and bring
100%.
awareness to all the stuff that we love to do
Yeah.
and to preserve it and keep it going. And
agreed.
Yeah.
oh, dude, it's mega huge.
Well, it kind of leads me to what we were talking about before we started recording on like we do so much stuff and there's so much stuff. And then as we build these relationships with people, like for example, that from the dip ship or,
Yeah.
or from Chris out there at the archery
Screaming
place,
Eagle,
it's
yeah.
like you get invited to do all these things with these people. And it's like, oh man, I say yes, I want to do it, I can, but you already have all these other things you already had on the calendar, so you ended up like not being able to take advantage of all these relationships. So I mean, apologies to the dudes that invite us to go do stuff, and full intention, full heart want to go do it. But like a lot of times, like we already had something planned, you know, with the family or with the other homies or something like that. But just awesome that door has been opened, and like maybe we didn't go this time, but we can go, you know, next year or something.
Totally, man. Yeah, I think it's a very open invitation usually to whenever you can make it work, stay in contact. That's the most important thing.
For sure.
But yeah, it's really cool the opportunities it's opened up as far as just
I believe it.
You know, multiple archery shops and knowing firsthand the guys are running the joints and what they're about, and just all the little things are, man, this year and a half has been a blast.
Yeah.
And we thank you for your support and like loyal listening, and you're like in the know on all of them. You give feedback. I'm like, hell yeah, man. Cause it's like, it's hard to keep up with all this. Right.
Well, and that's like, it's true for anybody that you know that's doing anything, small business, whatever. It's like you want to support. It's like, share, tell your friends about it. It's like if you think something's cool, and I love it when people that I know, you know, oh, like, do you listen to that Alaska Wild Project? You know, I'm like, oh, why, yes, I do. You know, and it's like, I just love to see stuff like that. You know, and it's like it's just about supporting your people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Whatever it is. I mean, even whatever it is, even if it's your kid's daughter that has a lemonade stand on Saturday morning in the street.
Yep.
Like, go support it. It doesn't cost you anything to go tell somebody about it, follow them, share it, like subscribe, whatever they're asking you to do. Like, that's easy.
It's a click.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Nothing. You're already scrolling. You're already doing whatever you're doing.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's great. Welcome to Alaska Wild Project, episode 87.
Good number.
Yeah. In the house, we have Emily Thompson.
Hey.
At AKEMYT. AKEMYT.
Mm-hmm. Old school.
On MET on Instagram. I've known Emily since, I think you said you're 15.
Had to be close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm remembering like indoor soccer center days. Like,
that's right.
Playing open gym, like blaring Spanish music till like midnight, just like just doing the deal.
Yeah.
That's right. In the Ultima.
Yeah.
With the black light glowing.
Black light and a soccer ball hanging on the rearview mirror.
Oh, that's hilarious. You have a long history as like Brandon and myself and Jack and Chad and these other guys that come and chat with us. You have a really long Alaskan history, lifelong Alaskan history. Let's kind of start at the beginning. You know, growing up, like who got you going outside stuff, or maybe you didn't do it back then?
Yeah. I guess, born and raised up here, you know, grew up, went to West, was always into sports and outdoor things, like grew up kind of fishing, but never really was surrounded by like the hunting aspect of things. Like my dad didn't hunt. My grandfather did, but he passed before I was born. But definitely was into everything outside. But then, like most, I feel like getting into high school, other priorities like sports, soccer, going to college, stuff like that. So it really wasn't until after I graduated from college and moved home that was like, okay, home is where I know I want to be. I went to school in California. I was like, this is fucking weird down here. And I was like, you know, did a few extra.
You should have gone to school in Florida.
Right.
It's a lot weirder.
Did a few other extracurricular things after school that I know you're probably going to want to bring up. But it wasn't like until I got home where I was like, okay, I really got back into fishing. And that was like the main thing that kind of sparked everything back into the outdoors for me, you know. And then my involvement with hunting didn't really start until about 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm a little late bloomer in that aspect. But it was like, I know you guys have talked about this before, but it's like you go on one and you're either in or you're out. And I was like fucking head first, cannonball, you know, like
in all the way.
We got a problem here. I was like, great, one more thing that is going to take my money and occupy my time. Like I am in for that. And then that's kind of leads us to now. And even being in the fire service, God, I'm surrounded by, probably 80 to 90% of the department is involved in hunting in some capacity, whether it's for pleasure or they even guide. So I've got
outdoors people in general too. Like
outdoors
too,
and
right?
just like-minded, whether it's hunting or skiing or fishing or boat, you name it.
Well, let's address that. You are with Anchorage Fire Department, Engine 9.
Yeah, I work at Station 9. That's off DeArmond, and this March will be my 7 years.
Nice.
So I'd been downtown for like the first 6, so it was quite a transition to get to go from Station 1 to Station 9.
But no hot dogs.
I know. I got to bring my own. I got to bring my own cheddar dogs to work, and I feed the crew with my own. But yeah, that was quite a jump, and I got lucky in my spot. The way it works is like a bid system, and typically people that end up at Station 9, have anywhere from 10 to 15 years on, but I had a bid in, got a little lucky, and it was literally like a day before I was supposed to go on a flight to Hawaii, and I got a text from a battalion chief. He's like, "Your bid's good?" And I was like, "Yeah, where am I going?" And I had plenty of high bids at other stations, but then he was like, 9B, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
And it was like it has been really good for my mental health, I'll say.
Is it more desired because you're dealing with less maybe like inebriated people and stuff from like the downtown? Like we brought this up several times on the podcast. We brought it up with AKEMYT and people that are ingrained in the downtown. Obviously, I've been downtown forever.
Yeah.
And so I was curious about that. So that's probably like the majority of the calls that those guys and gals down there get.
It's a grind. You kind of feel like, am I doing anything to really help anybody? It's a crew of 22 people down there. There's a lot of rigs that run a lot of calls, and some are an emergency, and some are, I slammed my finger in a door a week ago, and now it hurts.
That's what you called this for?
And people call 911 for some crazy things. So that is definitely probably the biggest change in going up to Station 9. It's like a lot more probably like sick people. We're first into a lot of the accidents like on the highway, which is pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And our specialty is high angle rope rescue, which is so cool.
High what?
High angle like rope rescue.
What was the second word? Angle?
Angle.
Oh, angle. Okay.
So it's like if they're along the highway, if there's like climbers that get stuck or somebody falls, or we've got a mule that's super cool. My first shift at Station 9, we like went up to Flat Top and just rallied these trails, and I'm like, this is my job, and it's like all 6 of us are on a mule just like bopping around.
A mule?
And Kawasaki mule, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like
we don't have horse and carriage.
I went straight to Columbia.
Damn, you guys got that there?
I was like, what? I didn't know
mule,
they were
riding mules.
that. I heard the Dalmatians, but the mule?
So that's super cool. And it's like this specialty is the most applicable thing to like all the things I like to do anyways. It's like fishing, hunting. I mean, like we know our knots, and like creating systems. So it's like I feel like that is a tool that will just be relevant to my life for forever.
Do you have a favorite knot?
I heard you guys say tie, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot.
That's my favorite knot. The lot knot.
I mean, there's so many.
That is a solid, usually one-time use knot.
Yeah. And then you got to cut it.
Yeah, have your knife ready.
It's a one-time use, but it's efficient.
Yeah.
I should say effective.
Right, not efficient.
Not efficient. Effective.
Effective temporarily.
Yes, in the moment.
Well, how about this? What knot do you use the most?
Oh, probably a bowline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bowline or like a clove hitch. And just getting,
I'm shaking my head like I know what that means.
Right.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, bowline, I do those.
You mean the one that goes around like this and touches and you have to cut it?
Goes around through, loops through.
Are you guys over there in charge of whenever they have to do connect rescues?
We do get called, and they usually end up being like, oh, hey, we're just out here on a walk, you know, and it's like there isn't really anything to rescue. A lot of times I had been on a few downtown. Mud rescue was Station 1 downtown. So there are often times when we would go down to the port or like kind of down in like the Turnagain neighborhood area with like bystanders or passerbys calling and, oh, there's somebody out in the flats, you know, it's like they're going to get stuck. That happened one time out at Station 9. Somebody called because there were 2 kids like out on the flats. They see the engine pull up and they literally just walk back to shore. And it's like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah. Okay. Good job, guys. Everybody have a good day.
But
like even like if Girdwood, Girdwood goes on a call, like we have to do what's called like a station move up if we're on the ambulance to cover their area while they're transporting somebody. So that happens pretty frequently.
What's the percentage of actually like fire issues compared to everything else?
Pretty low. I mean, I think
10%.
I think medical calls are probably 70% of what we do. But like it was cool doing this little station move up. We're just kicking it along the highway, watching the board tide. It was a super sunny day, and that was a perk, you know. And it's like when it's nice out, you know, that's not a bad deal. This will be my first winter though, being at Station 9, and it's probably my first few weeks there. We went on a gnarly like fatality.
That's too bad.
Yeah, and those happen pretty frequently. And the first thing that comes to my mind
Alaskan
is like,
highways.
shit, like I hope I don't know this person, you know, because that happens also frequently, you know, whether it's me or somebody else on the crew. So that's a realization, you know, it's like with how many people we know that go do suicide runs or, you know, are like jamming back.
Yeah.
Small aircraft, all of it, Emily. I mean, it's everything we're doing out here is risky when we're going, just driving to the place.
Yeah.
That's just like, I mean, it's...
And the suicide run for people that aren't from Alaska. Like, what does that mean?
Oh my God, don't do that. That doesn't sound fun.
A suicide run is when you leave Anchorage or Wasilla or anywhere around here and after work and you run to the Kenai or the Russian River or even Prince William Sound. I'd say sometimes that could be a suicide run. And get in some quick fishing. You fish, you get your limit, and most of the times you're coming home at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning in order to make it to work the next day.
Brutal.
So it's just brutal.
Worth it.
Yeah, perspective is like off at 4, hooked up with the homies at 5:30 to the fishing hole at like 7:30, fish till 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe later.
Or
you want to get that limit, and then hit the midnight, get that next day limit.
Or even if you're doing like a tunnel, trying to beat the tunnel at Whittier, and you do the whole thing, like any of that, like 6 to say 12 hour hang and bang turnaround, and then have to go back to work the next day.
It's funny.
Is the epitome of a suicide run.
Talking about suicide, I think like Wes and Chad were like one of the first people, like once I moved home, to like bring me with them and let me bike in with them to the falls, to do a suicide run. And it was like, oh my God, this is so cool, and it's like, now it's just part of the deal. I go do it solo, or I like
it's fitting a lot in a short window of time.
And it's just so fun.
I just laugh because I've done it so many times. Like I've come up with other words. I'm like, "We gonna slit our wrists tonight, boys?"
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, let's slit our wrists."
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I love slitting my wrists.
Honey, we're gonna slit our wrists tonight. She's like, "Okay."
Suicide run.
We're so emo.
And like, it takes you like 2 fucking days to recover from them. Usually,
it's like a hangover.
You're like, shit, I do have a cooler full of fish I got to deal with. Shit.
Yeah, you got to deal with that when you get off work, already tired, hurting, and then like you got to try and turn around like within a day or 2 for something else.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the suicide run just isn't like a quick overnighter. Like it fucks things up for 2 and 3 days after.
Yeah.
Because you put something off, or you
That's
committed
Alaskan
to something.
Summers.
I mean, it's
That's
like that adds to the suicide part of it. Just like
because you feel like doing that after a few days.
Fucks everything up, dude.
I wonder who came up with that term.
I know, man. Isn't that just something we all just kind of like
just been saying?
Just learn because you do it and you heard it from somebody the first time, and then that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good man. If anybody listening has any.
Said it
Who dubbed suicide run?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So just to backtrack a little bit, so when you were going fishing as a kid, I know that fishing to me as a kid was like going to Russian River or going to Willow or Deep Creek. We would do a lot of that, like river fishing. I never really went on an ocean boat till I was almost an adult. Is that what you guys were doing?
My dad used to run like a lodge that he would fly into on the Little Sioux. Okay. And there's pictures of me like holding little fish hearts, and just like making them pulse in my hand. But I was like young, like young. And then like we would go over to Soldovia. That was like something cool. I remember like clam digging with my mom. Like my dad used to be a pilot, and then there was kind of some other aviation people in the family. My uncle still flies. And so it's like we would go to some cool places, but I was like young, and then my parents split, and then those activities still kind of happened, but they kind of stopped a little. So I was like very young, but it's like, it didn't kick back up until like way later in life.
When you came back and got back into like the fishing and stuff, was it like, who would you say, maybe there's a couple of people that kind of was like, hey, we're going fishing, you want to come? And it kind of re-sparked your deal?
Wes was one of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. My uncle, who now lives in Arizona, like uncle through marriage, he would go fish the Russian all the time, and I was like, that looks super fun. And I had like hot ass neoprene waders, not knowing, like so frustrated I couldn't figure out how to tie a knot, and then it was like one of those, like once I figured out the system of like where you're flossing and then like how much weight to get the drift, and it was like once I like hooked one, it was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
This is it. Yeah.
And then it was like that's all it took. Yeah. And then, I'd go biking with Wes, or like whoever I could find. It was like, who wants to go fish the Russian, And that was like kind of the main one for all, which is like.
That's almost like the springboard, I want to say. Because same thing for me.
Because it's easy?
Yeah, because it's just like something that you and the friends can go, you know what I'm saying?
And struggle through it. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to get lucky probably and get one, and then you're stoked.
Yeah, I think the main attractant is that if you're a really good fisherman, out of the gate you have patience, but most people don't. Mm-hmm. So it allows for action.
Yep.
So there's tug back, there's fights, you know what I mean? Sometimes obviously you go and you get skunked, but in general, right, I'd say it's action versus like a slow trout fishing day or a slow king fishing day.
Well, it's like, like you said, that's like the springboard, because then it's like after that and years of that, it's like then I jumped into like trout fishing and God,
then you just like split off in this crazy road
trout fishing, but then I found out about the salt, and it's like,
actually, can you move the chair in that? I think it might be covering it.
Like going to Mexico and like fishing bonefish and tarpon and
do
permit.
That so bad.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can be fishing in a bikini.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit if I don't catch anything. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have on 20 layers. It's like you're sight fishing, so it's kind of like hunting, and you're just literally like walking the flats, like looking for tails, looking for shadows, looking for whatever. And it was like, this is what's up, the salt fishing. So we did plenty, the last handful of years, like every
But that's a different kind of salt fishing. That's like a fly fish salt fishing versus like the
like deep sea ocean
style.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like you got your fly rods, you got your 8, 9, 10 weights, and it's like you hook a bonefish for the first time and you just like they're gone. And
like those are trips I want to do. My son is obviously addicted to fishing, and he has all these things he wants to do, like bone fishing and red fishing. He has all these fish he wants to get, where like I would have never even like I see and I want to do it. I do want to do it, but like now I'm motivated. I was like, all right, we're gonna go do it.
Right. Well, it's like that's the best. If people go on trips in Alaska in January, February to get out for the winter, and it's like if all you need to do is pack an 8-weight, and some salt line.
Yeah.
There's plenty of DIY. There's this book that's called Fishing the Yucatan, And it is very descriptive on like all these super cool areas that you can drive up to, walk. And then I got lucky enough and met a guy that guides down there, and we've guided, or like I've gone fishing with him every year for the last like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And you know, he's given us some sweet little honey hole spots, and he's like, don't worry if I see you, you know, I got a client tomorrow, but if I see you, I'll just keep going to the next one.
Oh, that's perfect.
You know, and so it's like we've gone tarpon fishing with him, bone fishing, and permit, you know. So it's like permit and bone are kind of like, you know, you're fishing like the same waters looking for these fish. But I didn't do well the day that we went out with him. Didn't catch shit. It was just super hard. Even just to train your eyes to see what bonefish look like in the water is like a whole other element.
Yeah, sight fishing at its finest, huh?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes along with a lot of things. As we've been talking about, like going to try to do like an Arizona hunt or a Coos deer hunt, or even if you just are like moose hunting, as you teach your kids and stuff like that. It's difficult to know what you're looking for until you see it once.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, oh, that's what it is. That's the size of it. That's what it looks
sense.
like at that depth. Or like, for example, like we go and I'll spot goats and sheep all the time, like everywhere. We're driving. I was like, oh, there's a goat.
What?
And they don't know, like, where? And then once they see it, whoever you're with, whether it's a family member from out of town or your kid or a friend that doesn't know, and then once they actually see it, then they're like, oh, okay, so that's actually what it is or what it looks like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I could think how that is the same.
That's how I felt. Like permit. I mean, I guess you could equate it to like, you know, people try and fish their whole lives to catch a permit. Like people hunt their whole lives trying to get a doll sheep.
Yeah.
And it's like, I had no idea. It's like what I was looking for. And I didn't get anything the day that we went with the guide, but the day after we were kind of in a similar area, just like walking the beach. And it's like, you're looking for them, like their fins essentially, like kind of coming through the water. And it's like, they are super spooky. So it's like, I ended up getting 2 permit right in a row, like the next day. And they were like tiny little footballs, but they can be like 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's hunting, but like with a pole, with a fly rod. And it's like, I cast this little shrimp pattern, like right in front of its face, like probably 5 yards. And then you just strip to make it look like it's swimming, and it's swimming parallel to the shore. Then it sees that shrimp pattern, and it just hooked a hard left, and it's coming right at me. And then so you're strip, and like just watching it all unfold right in front of your eyeballs is insane.
It's like you're calling a moose in.
Huh?
And like sometimes they can get right up to it. They look at it and they're like, "No, fuck you, that's fake," you know. And then they're gone.
Yep.
Oh.
It's a smart fish.
But this one chomped on it, and he was gone, and I was like ecstatic. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And then like no longer than like 2 seconds later, another small school of like 2 end up coming right in front of me again, and then I hooked a second one. It's like shocking, and have never caught one again since. So.
Do you eat those, or you put them back?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's catch and release. Like that's the rule.
I don't think so. I don't think. Yeah, I don't just think you'd want to eat them. I don't think there's a lot of meat on them.
Okay.
No, if you talk to my mom.
Yeah, right. She can cook
You put
anything.
it back. You put it back.
What a waste.
Now, why you waste it? Come on.
Kind of like it's just like a sport fishing, you know. Like some people eat trout. Like, are you gonna like whip up a nice 30-pound trout on the?
Oh, dude, my mom was so mad. I was showing her pictures. She's like, "Did you save me one?" I was like, "No, we put them back." She's like, "What, Daniel? What are you talking about? Those are the best." You know, she's like all super mad at me because I didn't like savor this huge trout. I was like, well, for one, you're not allowed to keep it.
Right.
It's when it's that big. Has to be 18 inches or smaller, I think it is.
But it's like, some people do. You know, I don't. But
I mean, do you really? I mean, this is an interesting question. Just straight throwing it out there. Like, who really likes trout?
My mom.
I think a lot of people.
I mean, I like fish. I eat a lot of fish. I feel like I have a good palate.
Have you
for
eaten
fish.
a trout before?
Yeah, lots of it. And it's not.
Well, it depends.
Just,
I think I'm a little bit spoiled because I used to go with Kendo and my buddy Daryl, who's like a French chef, and these dudes would like keep a trout and like do this thing with it. And it was just like
With the
glorious.
fire,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just like he'd bring all the special things out and like his Hawaiian stuff and like do it all up.
I never like cooked a big one. It was always like, actually the only thing I ever kept were lake trout. It would be like, say like a 18-incher, a 16-incher, headed, gutted, and then I would cook the entire thing in tinfoil, and I had several different
you got
ways.
pan fry.
No, I don't pan fry it. I
No,
put
but
it-
I'm saying that's the way.
But to me, it was like you had to be a young fish, not a bunch of meat, but enough that where like everybody can have a little taste of it for like an appetizer. And to me, that was always the best way to enjoy a trout. But to like slab it and smoke it all up, even though we did smoke Lakers a couple times, and that was actually amazing because they're real oily. But I just think about like a big old fat fillet off of a 30-inch rainbow is like disgusting, dude. That's like straight mush.
How about
Come
you
on.
came to the meat party, right?
Yeah.
How about the homie Kyle, dude? I think he won the night. Everyone had all this like crazy like
Big cow.
no. My other friend Kyle, the other Kyle, the Admiral Senior we call him. Kyle, dang, what is his last name?
Kyle with the crazy wife, right?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Scarlett and Kyle. I love Kyle.
Scarlett. Scarlett, shout out to you, girl. You are from another planet.
Yeah, she's great.
She'd be grinning if she heard that too.
Yeah,
she knows.
she's great.
Meat Party 2021.
Everyone has all this,
2022.
like you went, dude. There's like crazy people had all this crazy, like everything you could imagine: deer,
So
muskox, bison, this, moose tongue tacos, and like all this crazy stuff. And this fool brought
Oh God.
Camel Creek trout
No.
smoked.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
He presented it. He had
it
it.
up like a card.
Oh, dude, yeah, you fill out
Was
the
he
card.
proud? Was he
Yo,
proud?
he was so proud. He was so proud, dude. He's like, I smoked this myself. I caught it right over there off a Tudor.
I just walked up and netted it. Did you try it?
I think I did. I tried everything. I tried like this last time. I mean, I've overindulged in past ones, and you just can't, you can't do that. The trick of it is for people that are going to come is obviously come hungry, and then just have like one tiny bite of
Have
everything.
to.
You have to, or else you're not gonna be able to try
taster.
everything. And everyone wants you to
Taster.
try
Yeah.
whatever they bring, and you still can't do it.
No.
You have to like eat early. Like
Have a break.
Have
let
a break.
It settle.
Yeah.
Maybe run a few laps. Come back round
Yep,
two.
yep, and then come back and then like finish it off. That's the only way to do it. But I thought that was like the most original like thing I'd seen.
That's
At the meat
awesome.
As I'm making the note, Kyle smoked trout.
Camel Creek, dude.
Camel Creek trout. Get it right.
I mean, there's some really incredible fish in that creek too. Between
Oh,
dollies
that's where I
and
grew up
rainbows
fishing. Was that
and
Camel Creek.
silvers, dude. There's like really good fishing. Actually,
crying.
I'm crying. That I feel like I remember seeing it, but I didn't put the two and two together. That was like I was like, oh, that looks like smoked trout, but I didn't like look at it.
That was such a good time. Good job, guys. That was
was a
like
good time.
first annual. Like that
First
was
annual, yeah.
that was a good
Yeah,
turnout.
no, well,
Super
we've
fun.
done it for years at my house.
I remember you
But
saying that,
but
and
it's
it was
got
always
like a-
closed off. Like, sorry, bros only
Yeah.
type
Well,
of deal.
and shout out to Rena and her help. I mean, she really helped us put it together. Found the house, the venue.
Yeah.
Got it all set up. So
I think I remember
it was a team effort.
messaging Alexia like, "What's up? Like, can I come?" She's like, "Psh, "Girl, it's like it's boys only." I'm like, "That's some bullshit."
I'm in Girdwood.
Right? Like that's her excuse to get out. And I'm like, I'll be ready for next year.
Those were the pregame. Those are the what do we call those ones, man? Those are the ones before they're starting
The
to get
prelims?
recorded.
Prelims.
For the main event.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly
That
what
was
it was.
that was a junior league meet party. We're trying to move up now.
Big leagues.
Yeah,
Trying to move
it got
to
a
the
little
big
rowdy
leagues.
though. Got a little rowdy.
That one year, man, downstairs the garage was like a high school wrestling meet, and it was like someone's gonna blow a hammy or an ACL for sure. Y'all are way too old for that.
There's just throw up everywhere.
Oh,
Toilets
clogged
jacked.
toilets,
Some dude's
dude.
passed out in this room. Some dude's in my wiggies in the garage. Just like
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you be?
Probably pissed in it.
Right. Pissed on the ground, was putting on the wiggies to protect his feet.
Yeah, no, those were the Patreon meat parties.
Old school.
Yeah, the Patreon. Yeah, exclusive ones.
Yeah.
Do you? I was checking out your Instagram page, and I mean, you do so much stuff. But back in the day, it was mostly soccer and snowboarding then?
Yeah.
Or skiing?
Snowboarding.
I think we all snowboarded back then. That was like the cool thing to do.
For sure. Like started at Hilltop, you know. And I just wanted to do anything my bro did. It's like, brother's snowboarding, I want to snowboard. Brother's got a motorcycle, I want one too. Like I can do that.
That was at a really peak time.
With Hilltop?
You know, with snowboarding in general, we talked to Liskas and
that was in the heyday of Borderline days.
Yeah, Borderline.
I love
and everything
going
was
into
like,
Borderline. I had so many stupid pairs of skate shoes. It's like, I don't fucking skate. You know what I mean?
You still have them?
Absolutely. They're cabin shoes now. It's like I got a row of DCs that like have never touched a skateboard.
They're like putting on slippers, man. You put those.
They're
things
so wide and like
so
puffy.
wide. I'm like, what am I doing? Those in my JNCOs back in the day.
Oh, the JNCOs.
Damn.
Yo, there's those coming back though, man. I've been seeing the kids.
Which jersey did you wear though? That's what I want to know.
Probably had an AI one.
Oh, okay.
Probably,
or
or
like
like
that sounds about right.
AI, Allen Iverson.
Man, hell yeah.
That was Alexia's dude.
76ers, man.
She loved AI.
so stupid, so dumb. But yes,
wink and shit.
Just like the first guy that had like a neck tattoo.
Yeah, what a babe.
Yeah, stud for sure.
Juke you out of your shoes, dude.
Did you play hockey back then?
No, but I skated like a lot. Like my mom would take us to go skate outside at Westchester or whatever. And then again, wasn't until I moved back after college where I had a group of girlfriends that like have been playing on a women's league team for like 10 plus years already. And it's pretty funny. They were like, oh, well, we're going to go skate over here. Like, why don't you come? And little did I know it was like a tryout to see if I could, to see if I could skate. And that was like, yeah, I think she's in, you know. So it's like this tight-knit group of gals. And so like after one skate, I was like, okay, sweet, I'm in the Sunday league, you know. And that was, you know, close to like 9 years ago now. And then the coolest part is like our department, we've got a morning skate 3 days a week, like where we get a sheet of ice from 10 to 11:30.
Oh, for the fire department?
Oh my
For all of
God.
them? For all the boys?
Yes. And it is, pardon my language, fucking fast.
Really?
I mean, we got dude that played all through high school, like juniors, college, like the
Just
show,
out there
like
dangling
a
everybody?
few, you know, a few that played in the show, whatever.
Yeah.
But
They were up there.
it is so much fun, and that is how I've gotten like better. You know, same with soccer. It's like if you want to get better at something, surround yourself by people that are better at it than you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like I played with the boys growing up playing soccer, and it's like same applies for hockey. And
Yeah.
it's so much fun. Like I leave these morning skates are an hour and a half, like feeling like I got like hit by a Mack truck. I'm like exhausted, but so much fun. And then we've actually I've gone on a few trips like where we go out of state and play in tournaments, and that's a blast.
Oh, right on. Mm-hmm. Do they have to like make a team, or there's always plenty of people that are
Plenty. So the way it works, everybody gets the opportunity to skate twice. The way our schedule rotates.
Yeah.
And so it's perfect. It's like right after shift. It's enough, you know, if you get a late call, you can go home, grab your gear, whatever. So it's like starting at 10, people kind of like trickle on the ice around 10:15, and it's like you just wear black or white. And we've got a guy that's in charge of getting goalies, and it's like sometimes we'll have like 8 on the bench, and sometimes we'll have like 1. But it is so fun.
Do they have a that just got me thinking, did there used to be like a fire department team that used to like play against the Aces or against the police or
I'm
something?
sure. Well, yeah,
back in the day?
that's like the Guns and Hoses.
Yeah.
that they still
Okay.
do.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And it got skipped up the last few years because COVID and whatnot. But yeah, that's a whole deal in itself because it's like they can only make one team, and there's a lot of guys that are good. So I'm not a part of that. I think they end up doing like a draft or something to like figure out, which is funny, but it's
Just
like
to pick off the wall, like you're on this team.
I mean, but then I think actually last year, I could be wrong, I think they ended up mixing up fire and police because I don't want to say it was like
a one-sided deal. Yeah.
But I'm actually going to be playing. I just got reached out to by a guy at work asking if I'd play. There's like a Matsu EMS fire police game that's happening on November 26th out in the Valley. And I think it's benefiting like girls hockey or something. November 26th at the Menard Sports Complex. Doors open at 6. Game starts at 7. And there's like food, beer, wine, raffles, but it's law enforcement and EMS. But that should be fun.
Okay. The guns is nice.
But
it's back on.
But this is a different one.
Okay.
This is like one out in the Valley.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's like a ton of guys from AFD doing it. Because I think it's benefiting like girls hockey. That's why I got asked to go skate in it.
Okay.
But that'll be fun.
Well, I know it's huge in like New York. Like I want to say like Spittin' Chicklets did a thing with those dudes out there. Like
really?
Like they do it at Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
like
I believe
sold
it.
out. Like it's like intense.
Back up a minute. Were you suggesting earlier you said it was like one-sided, so they mixed? Was that because the fire department was so powerful?
Yeah, stacked.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify.
Well, this might be a weird statement, but I don't know. In my mind,
could be some police officer like, what?
No, I don't know.
Right, and I don't know. I don't know if they because I was not involved like whatsoever in any of that. I don't know if they were like, no, we don't want, we could do it or whatever. I don't know. Too proud.
It's like you need some players, guys.
Like it was 8-0 and there's a big crowd here. Like, do you really want to get waxed? Like,
can we make this competitive?
And I can say that because I wasn't playing. You know, it wasn't me. It was like guys that are like legit super good.
I just think fire department people are more fit than police department people. Is that a weird statement? Is it true?
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not trying to like discredit any police officers.
I think that there's a varying scale, and it's like there's both on each. I think that there's probably super fit people on the police department, and
of course there is. Of course there is
super fit people on the fire department, but there's also the
not
other
fit.
end.
Yeah, but I've never seen a not fit fire. Like there's the image of like the hot fire guy.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like whenever the fire department would come to the school, you know, all the lady teachers are like, oh, the fire guy.
It's so funny. And a lot of times at work, like I wear a hat or something and like, or, you know, we go into people's homes and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you gentlemen so much. Like you guys are so strong. And I'm always like, you're welcome. And then they kind of like look twice like, shit, oh my God. Like I didn't see you. Or like, damn, it's like, yeah, I just picked your husband up off the floor, you know?
He's going to be fine.
You're welcome. But that's a pretty common thing. It's like just try and blend in. Doesn't always work all the time.
That came out wrong. I'm sorry, APD. I love you.
Well, I mean,
please respond when I call.
Is there like a thought in your mind? Because I think I was picking up what you were saying. If I could kind of help.
Well, I just think as far as like imagery, I'm not saying like a personal opinion. I'm just saying as far as like the image that's kind of out there. Whatever it is, you just feel like you think of fire department like hunk dudes, you know, like in shape dudes, and then I don't know why you don't think that about the police.
I mean, I have a neighbor that's a police officer, and he's like fucking
jacked.
Vin Diesel, like he's
Diesel,
badass looking mofo. I see him in his driveway, you know, throwing up the deuces.
You're like, whoa, bro, I don't want
to. I don't want to tackle like 3 dudes at once.
Damn, he's so hot. Look at my neighbor.
Like, nice.
Come cuff me.
Nice tank top there, John.
It's February.
But look how big my arms look.
Well, okay, so I'm not saying like the judgy part that you're saying. That's kind of
he's calling you judge.
Yeah,
I'm not. It's not a personal judgment. I think it's just a public like.
It's a perception
that's out there.
Okay, so my thought is like maybe the more like continuous or strenuous training that goes into wearing the equipment, running the equipment, all the rigorous training that you do all the time. I think about like the need for being in like premium or optimum as possible shape in your field because of that what can be an extreme like physical demand of you in moments notice.
Yeah.
So not to take anything away from an emergency response police officer, But I'm just thinking about a police officer in his day-to-days versus a paramedic or firefighter in his day-to-days, and the different continuing training that goes on, that maybe you're a little more fit if you're running up and down stairs and carrying hoses, and the narrative, right, of what a firefighter is, and which I have no doubt that I'm right next to Pump Station 12. Mm-hmm. Not Pump Station. The Dirty Dozen, Station 12.
Yeah.
I see their fire truck. They're badass.
It's not Pump Station?
No, I don't
What
think
does
it
that
is. I think I meant like an oil rig.
Old school?
Like a pipeline. I'm on a tangent on it, but my point is I see those guys running equipment and training all day, every single day. And it's like, damn. Like, they're just sitting around, like, shooting hoops and eating Twinkies waiting for a call. Like, I'm sure there is time.
Yeah, there's that too, but a lot of...
But I'm just thinking, like, a lot goes into it, and kudos to that.
A lot is training. You know, it's like you're training for what could happen, and, you know, just keeping up on everything. And, you know, some stations have a different kind of regimen when it comes to training than others, and that's a luxury that they kind of get to decide. You know, there's there's like department-wide training that has to be done annually, but ultimately it comes up to like the captains and crews on like how regularly they're like getting outside, drilling, doing different things. And a lot of stations get probies every year, so like new employees, and it's like they've got a thick book of like checkoffs and things that need to get done, you know. And so that
training and hours and time you need to have on stuff.
Yeah, it's like on the job training, you know. And a lot of times that benefits you know, somebody that maybe has been on the crew for a while that's maybe getting ready to test for engineer or test for captain. So it's like a full on ongoing. There's never not any training to be done, whether it's like online or, you know, at the training center, you running drills, or, you know, even just at your, like in a local area, like area familiarization is like a big thing. It's like if there's unique structures, like where you respond to, it's like we should probably know about them, you know?
Oh, okay.
So that's a big one. And just, you know, especially like with Hillside too, like with us, it's like that's a whole other like can of worms. And every station has like a thing that is unique to them.
Yeah.
You know, that they need to.
I'm sure downtown they're dealing with big buildings where there's.
Yeah, we do a lot of high rise training down there. And like the mud rescue thing that I said, it's like that's one.
That's really unique.
Really unique. And, you know, we've got tools, you know, for just that purpose. So that's a cool part.
And specific training for it too, right? Scenarios and things that you've done.
But essentially it's like we all work trades, like we all work overtime different places. So it's like, we all need to be ready to do
cross train all over
anything,
the place.
everywhere. It's like I don't just work at Station 9, you know, like I can work trades, or I get traveled and work at Station 1, 2, you know, 1, 3, 5, 7, like anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like depending on what their specialty is. Like a lot of times, if it's like Station 1 downtown, it's a hazmat station. So it's like if there's a hazmat call, they're going on it. And if somebody,
no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if there's a hazmat call and you're working a trade from another station, it's like you'll probably respond. You might not necessarily do like all the tasks that are required of like a person that is on the hazmat team, but you're going to be helping.
Yeah.
So it's like you just need to be like fluid and like able to just take direction and, you know, accomplish whatever needs to be done.
I will say that I think that the fire department schedule is the only schedule that's maybe better than the Anchorage School District schedule.
It's
as far as work-wise.
Pretty money. It's like, yeah, that's why I get to do all the things I get to do, you know. It's called a Kelly schedule. So we work 24-hour shifts, show up at work at 9 a.m., and then leave the following morning at 9. So we have a day on, day off, day on, day off, day on, and then 4 days off. So the 4 days off is called our Kelly.
Okay.
And we're able to manipulate like our schedule pretty well, taking trades, doing whatever we need to do. You know, if a lot of people are commercial fishermen, or they guide during hunting season, or, you know, they travel a lot or whatever. It's like that is definitely one of the perks of the job is the schedule.
The Kelly.
Called the Kelly schedule.
So does it get a little complicated because the hunting season is so short, like August 10th to end of September? Is it just
can,
like...
Yeah, it's hard to get trades, you know? It's like if you didn't get your leave pick when you wanted it, a lot of people are like willing to give a limb, for like a shift mid-August or but it's cool because not everybody hunts, and it's like some people want January, February off because they're ski junkies.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or they want to go
to Hawaii or something.
Yeah, so it's like they're more than happy to work August, September. So that's a cool part too. It's like everybody's into what they're into, but it's not necessarily always the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I like that trade thing. I wish more.
Is there like trade partnerships? Is there like maybe some groups where you're like, hey, this is like
a lot of people try and keep trades in house.
Okay,
so it's like I'll work trades from other for and with other people at Station 9. That just eliminates the need for like packing up all your gear. And during like COVID, it was like 4 bags full of crap all the time, like moving to another station. So if you're doing it in house, you just get to stay.
Yeah,
that's way easier logistically.
Yep. And then you can pay back, like I said earlier, like with a trade, like you work for them later, or we're able to transfer leave hours, which is cool. I don't think a lot of other departments maybe do that. Yeah. Like you have to work for somebody, you can't give them leave.
When you see the average person sees a fire truck and there's normally like at least 4 people in there, is there a reasoning by the position of the person that's in the truck? Or is it just whoever jumps in?
Yep. Engineer is always the driver.
Okay. Person
in the right front seat is always a captain, and then firefighters in the back. And then when it comes to an ambulance, there's BLS ambulances and ALS ambulances. So BLS is basic life support, and those are staffed with 2 EMTs. So downtown we've got 2 BLS rigs, and that responds to the person where my fingers hurt.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. And then the ALS rig is staffed with a paramedic who sits in the right seat and an EMT in the driver's seat. Okay. And they go to things like cardiac events or traumatic injuries that potentially can require life-saving interventions.
What about the one truck that's newer that has the dude in the way back?
Tiller. That's downtown. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one I think the state has seen. And that one's really cool. So it's like, the guy in the back is steering, and those were made to navigate through like tight spots.
To swing that big
turn.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. Like when we're taking corners and, like I've been the firefighter dozens of times in the back, and it's like the engineer in the back likes to be funny and like cheeky and like swing over to the right a little bit, and like the person in the car next to you just see their eyes like going, they're like, oh my God, like they think they're going to get ran off the road or something. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
No, and then obviously that's downtown because it holds the ladder for the tall buildings and all that stuff.
Yep.
So there's probably tons of those in like big cities where there's lots of big buildings.
Yep.
We just have one here.
Correct. Oh. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
That looks really expensive.
They are. Yeah.
That's why we work so hard to pay for this.
Like the taxpayers' dollars hard at work.
Yeah, and I'd rather have it and not need it than
absolutely
not have it, right?
Yeah, it can get into some places, and they're pretty sweet.
Well, and I imagine too, like any call that they can take to get it out and train guys in real life situations too, right? Is that also something that the department would like? I mean, not that they like it, but those are opportunities, right? Like where they can fire it up and
anytime our guys, and that's like part of like our weekly checks, it's like as an engineer, it's like you're putting the stick up at least once a week. And that happens like on a Wednesday or whenever we do it now these days. But typically crews will get out, like once a week and do some form of training on it. And it's like, especially because downtown, it's like the frequency that firefighters get to like rotate through is kind of infrequent. So it's like the more hands-on people can get, it's like the better. And Station 1 is housed with probably the newest personnel, coming fresh out of academy and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Is that the one on 4th Avenue right there? Like some new.
Yep.
It's newer. 10 years now?
Yeah, the building's newer, or kind of.
So, like, our administration is attached to it, and there's a museum down there, and the big tall part is like a hose tower, but...
You know Swarner?
No.
He's like one of the accountant dudes, or not accountant, but money dudes over there with Sworn to Secrecy.
Sworn.
Good boy, Sworn.
Nice.
He works down there.
Comes down to get some dogs.
Yeah, oh, yeah. He comes.
Spills the tea.
Yeah.
What was the truck called again? What was that called again?
Tiller.
The tiller.
The
Yeah.
tiller.
Putting the stick up, you call it?
Yep.
Tiller. All right. Now I'm trying to get the lingo down here.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys need to come by and bring the kids and like come by Station 9
Holy
and see
shit,
me at
dude.
work.
I would love to do that.
Kevin just came by and brought the kids from Barney's the other day.
Oh, really?
We've been talking about it like every time.
Oh,
I
my
go
kids would
in.
love that.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He came by last Saturday with both the kids and they just had a blast.
I mean, every kid loves that.
At first, they think they do, and then they get there and it's ugh!
Yeah.
Everyone
It's all
gets
kinda
everyone.
it's all-
Kevin's
yeah.
like, "What's wrong with you? Like, loosen up, kid." I was laughing so hard, and then like towards the end, like they were having a blast, you know.
Yeah. Jumping in there. And
Yeah, absolutely. Run around. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
that's
like you can't
awesome.
really do anything, and he's like, "Don't touch this. Don't touch that." And I'm like, "Kev, it's cool, man."
Yeah. It's awesome.
Man,
Speaking
I
of
really
Kevin,
love that.
all the new merch, everything's over there at Barney's. Go over there if you're looking for a, it's Christmas is coming around the corner. I hate to say it. It is the perfect stocking stuffer, a little shirt, a little hat, some stickers, a hoodie or whatever. Go over
Nice.
there. And we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney's Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Frontrunner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers, custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com. There we go. We're back.
So speaking of Kevin, I was just I was doing some running around today and I saw he made this post and new shop dog. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
today?
yes, I did.
Oh my God, I was moments
What
away.
is it? Some kind of doodle, but it's like a dark colored one.
It's a golden doodle, and
is?
I was on my way to my girlfriend's house to do a little gear check before our trip coming up, and I was like, skirt. If there's anything that will make me flip a bitch real quick, it's a fucking puppy. So it was so funny. Like I rolled up in there and like I just walked straight back into the office and the employees were like, "Oh my God, are we getting robbed?" Like I was like, show me the baby.
Yeah, show me the baby.
Where is the baby?
Is it his new dog or one of the guys?
Yes.
Oh, he got another new dog.
Yep.
Man, he likes to get his hand. He's got like 3 kids at home too.
It was, I think it was, he said it was the wifey's idea, but this dog was chill and it was like all curled up with the old baby, the old lab.
Oh,
And-
yeah, with the old guy. You know, I wonder about
His
that.
lab-
Actually, that's
his lab's
perfect.
getting
His
old.
old dog is good, but sometimes those old dogs, they don't want the young spruce coming
No.
around and like
But he
nipping at them.
posted another picture later. They were just curled up
In the
like
bed
2
there.
little peas in a pod. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, 2 seconds later, I was like rolling around on the ground with it. And Kevin was like, guys, this is Emily. I just couldn't help it. Like it was making me go crazy.
Cute little dude.
Yeah.
It is. What's the name?
Hero.
Hero? What's the other dog's name? Hank or something?
I should know.
I wanna say it's like
I don't-
Hank.
I feel bad.
Oh,
that
I should
don't
know that. Sorry, Kevin.
I can't recall that he's ever said the dog's name.
Sorry, Kevin.
In person.
Call us. Tell us what it is.
Well, I was just there, a week or so ago. And Yeah, his old lab's getting there.
Yeah, he's there.
I mean, it feels like when you're really a hardcore dog lover, Emily, you know about that. When
problem.
It's like, I feel like, is it easier to set yourself up by getting the puppy before than like the crushing after and then getting another puppy? Like, true dog lover's going to get another dog either way. That's the reality of it.
It's going to be devastating.
But it feels like there's like a better transition.
Yeah, I think
process when you do the young to the older, and then the old one gets like a little bit of like maybe revitalization. There it is. There for a minute because there's young spry one around, and then the little one gets a little.
But he kind of shows them and probably nips them and lets them know the rules.
Trains them up. Let's them know how to be a dog.
Yeah. We're kind of in that position, like, and to speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah.
Like we had our dog pass away and it was like nice to not have, I mean, I want a dog really bad, but it was nice to not have to like worry about the dog when you're going on vacation or, you know, that's just adds a whole another element on all these trips we're bringing we're doing, you know, but I miss it because when we're on the river or we're camping in some remote place, like I wish the dog was there, you know, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. Your old boy's getting old, huh?
Yeah, he's
got a little gray there.
He's 9. His chin is silver, and we just crushed Symphony Lake the other day. Though we did a 10-miler, still has some of those in him.
Nice. Have you started any CBD with them?
No.
They have really, really, really. I want to say Lance Mackey put out a CBD thing that I gave to my dog once she turned like 12.
Cool.
And I know Jack gives some to Brooks Ranger there, and that like once that you can tell like they're hurting after you go on a big thing like that and they're just moving around. It's just little drops that you put in their water, and they put like salmon oil and stuff in there, and it's like the dog is like a puppy again, dude. It's crazy. They're like get their shine on their coat again, and they're just like jumping around, and it just kind of like revitalizes it.
Okay.
So when you see them getting to that point, man, go buy. It's expensive. Yeah. It's like $80 for like a little bottle.
It's worth it.
100% worth it.
Yeah.
They will they see you pull that thing out. They're like, you know, right by the water, like waiting for you to drop it in there.
Cool.
Yeah, it works really good.
Connoisseur Lounge, Treehouse.
Oh. Yeah.
A couple local.
I wonder if Lance is still doing that thing. That was the one that the lady recommended.
Product. I just know that they specialize in the pet CBD and.
Yep.
They have all the treatment.
Yeah. Are you guys going to get another dog?
Man, you just talked about it today. Actually, that's crazy that you asked.
Yeah.
Well, one of the fellow hockey parents on my daughter's hockey team, they like rescued a dog down in Texas. And it was like this spotted. It's like a spotted. I have to look it up, man. It was like a Rottweiler pit bull, a pit bull lab mix is what it looked like, even though that's not what it was.
Yeah.
And it was spotted, and it was like a herding style dog.
Like an English short hair?
Yeah, something. I forget what it was. I don't want to go too far and sound like an idiot about it, but the point is like it was a cool looking dog. It had a lot of cool attributes of like a good family dog.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those things where like I felt like I was over the dog thing, but it like sparked something.
Yeah. For
a couple of days, and I was like looking at him, and I'm like, man, if I get another dog, I'm not gonna like get a purebred. I'm gonna rescue something. Like I'm not gonna I'm gonna spend $4,000 and get a special like perfect dog. I'm not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna like be for more of a cause too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just like fulfilling it. But back to your point, man. I'm right now with how fast life is and everything going on. Like one less like fucking thing that I have to like account for to go do something. Or bring the dog, which is fun and cool, but that it brings its own challenges.
Absolutely.
On certain things where you're like,
especially when they're like $120, like Moses.
Yeah,
he's no lap dog.
Yeah, I had a 100-pound dog for 10 years, and it was like so cool to bring him around, but he was such a pain in the ass. Like he had to sleep with me in my sleeping bag and shit. It was that bad.
Funny.
Yeah, so for me, I was like, I'm good, man. I ain't trying.
Got to get him his own wiggies.
Like if I got another dog, like it wouldn't get to sleep in the bed. It wouldn't get to like sleep on the couch.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. This one's not going to eat human food.
No, man. Because our dogs, when Rena and I got together, she brought a lab and I had a Rottweiler pit bull.
Blended.
We blended them, but like we cut the bed off. which was like,
no room for you two and two
no,
dogs?
dude, it
Those
was
big ass dogs.
Dude, well, we let it happen for like a little while, and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous, man. Like, you can't have two like 100-pound dogs on a bed. I mean, you can, but it's like, I mean, I'm sure anybody listens like, yeah, we sleep with our dogs all the time. It's like, are you sleeping good though? Because I know the dogs are.
Yeah, the dogs are sleeping good.
Nope.
Making all kinds of room. But back to the point, like, right now I'm good, man. So no.
Okay.
All right, no.
You can borrow somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like, just bring a puppy over and give me a fix or something.
Just
and
go
I'm
see Kevin.
Like,
I said, Kev, this is really going to be driving some traffic up in here. I know I hooked a hard left.
Dude, I have like at least, and I'm not shitting you, minimum 20 neighbors a day that walk past my house with their dogs.
Great. Borrow one of those.
I'm like, damn, man, everybody has one. I lost mine, and I'm like, I don't think I'm good. Kids want one.
Oh, yeah. Of course they do. We're going to get one. We'll have one soon.
But, hey, tell me, though, man, cleaning up the yard that spring.
Well, now I got the kids. It's going to be their job.
I'm just saying, though, like, when you don't have that cleanup part,
it looks nice. Yeah,
it is nice, dude. I'm not so much looking nice, just like not having to clean it up.
Especially the wintertime when there's just layers and layers
Post
and layers
winter is like
as the snow melts.
Poop soup. Poop soup, we call it. That poop soup come spring.
The landmines.
Damn. Just fertilizing? Gross.
What's Emily's relationship status?
I saw that on the agenda. I was like, you going to ask her that?
You put it on the agenda, you fool.
Are we going to ask her that?
Yeah, man. The people want to know.
Emily's single.
Emily's single.
Emily
Okay.
is single.
I do think it's an important thing to bring up.
It is.
Because you are on a international, national, widespread podcast. So,
God.
Mr. Wright could be listening. You never know.
Hey.
I'm just Emily over here drinking ciders in AWP Studios.
You fools.
For the record, I wouldn't have asked you. But I'm Jeff.
I don't believe
This
that.
is my girl since she's like
Just,
15.
I know. So you got the history. You can ask her.
Yep.
I'll just pounce on it, though.
Yeah. Add to it.
What do you think is like, what's tough about it? Like being at where we're at now and you're like got your schedule and the things you're into. Like I can't even like think about how difficult it would be to like try to find someone to go and be able to like cool enough for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or cool enough for you. How is that? Like, are you doing the online stuff or are you just kind of looking for like a natural, like it'll happen?
I feel like I've tried it all.
Detailed questions. The hard questions.
It really is.
Yeah, we didn't do this to John.
I know. John, you married?
John, are you supposed to be cooking chicken
John, go
right
make
now?
that chicken right now, bro. I feel like because I grew up here, it's like I know like a lot of people like already, so that creates a whole other.
Oh, she might have dated him, or somebody you knew knows something about him.
Small town life shit.
And you know, like my schedule's pretty wild. You know, so it's gonna take somebody that also has like a flexible schedule that you know can do all the things.
Yeah.
And
is it a priority? I mean, is it like you're worried about? Like I don't say worried, but is it like you're not like stopping doing all the cool stuff to like?
Oh God,
worry about it.
It's like, yeah, if I find somebody that just gets in where they fit in, like that's ideal, you know, and I think that's true for everybody. And you know, that definitely has created this space where it's like, if I want to do something, I can't just like wait for somebody else to take me to go do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of been, I don't want to say like the theme for this year, but kind of.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I want to go shrimp. So it's like, I'm going to make sure my boat is ready to go out and like go shrimp, and I'm capable to take it out and go shrimp. You know, like I want to go on hunts. It's like, I don't have, and I don't want to call it a luxury or a crutch. But you know, there's plenty of women out there that they just, you know, they have their husbands or spouses or dads or uncles to like, they plan the hunts they're going on for the year.
Oh, gotcha.
You know? So it's like, if I want to go do something, it's like, I got to figure out how to go do it. I don't have anybody else doing it for me. And I'm going to not go.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So that creates like an interesting, I don't want to say dynamic, but it's like, it's kind of on me.
Yeah.
It's like, if I want to go do something, I better figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I'm sure you're learning a lot too, like having to figure it out yourself.
The most.
Because
and like,
when you have someone that's showing you all, like you might know how to do what they just showed you.
Right.
But then you're kind of like pigeonholed in just doing that.
Sure.
Whereas if you're
they're
trying
taking the lead on it.
yeah, but if you're trying to figure out something new or new area, a new thing you want to do, and it's on you, you know.
I don't have anybody else. You know, it's like I can, you know, I've built like a few relationships over the course of the year. It's like where I've gotten invited on some awesome things, and that's been great. And I try and reciprocate. So it's like, you guys know Kodiak's coming up. I'm literally leaving on Friday.
Yep.
This is like, I feel a little bit overwhelmed and over my head on it. And I know, Brandon, we were talking about it the other day, and like had this one other person that's going to come not come, like I would have happily, like that would have been great for you to come too. But like also part of me wants, so it's myself and 2 other women that I think are badasses and have also never hunted Kodiak before. And I feel a little bit remorseful to my crew because for the last like few months I've just been like playing Kodiak deer and goat hunts on repeat, you know, like on YouTube. But it's like all that's on the kitchen table TV all the time. Yeah, it's like I'm just doing my research to like figure out the best I can, and that's how it goes, you know, because I don't just want to go over there and like, we're gonna have a fucking blast, it's gonna be super fun, but like I want to go kill some shit.
Yeah, you have a goal in mind too.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's like also like a fine line. It's like people, you know, you want to go on these hunts and you experience everything, and that is great. But it's like we're going out there for a reason. It's like we want to come back with a harvest, or you know, and some good memories and all the things. But it's like
experience.
This is gonna be probably like, I don't know. I feel like my biggest kind of like sink or swim moment, you know. It's like I feel like I'm kind of leading like our little 3-pack here that's going over there, and you know, hopefully we can all come back successful and filled a bunch of tags. But it's like we're just gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how you got to do it. Well, I will say that your group of girlfriends are all pretty much badasses. I know that there's some recent divorces in there, maybe some single girls, some married girls, but you guys get after it. Like I be seeing you, because I know most of your girlfriends, and you guys, man, you guys do it up. I mean, not only like Alaska stuff, but you guys are doing out-of-state trips, but you guys are actually doing really rad Alaska things. Like I saw, like you guys all went shrimping, and you guys are all doing these other crazy things. Like how great is that?
It's pretty cool, and I feel very fortunate that I like the shrimping stuff. You know, it's like that's anybody that's a boat owner knows that it's like quite a responsibility and a lot of pressure, and it's time, like you name it. It's like maintenance, everything. So yeah, I got out to the Sound a bunch this year, and it was so cool to be able to bring girlfriends, people out there from out of state, like my mom. You know, I got to bring my mom out to go shrimping. And it's just to be able to do that like independently, like solo. Yeah, like, it feels pretty good. Yeah, you know what I mean. And even like the few hunts that I've done, it's like those, like I feel like pretty accomplished. Like just doing only like the few things that I've killed, but like the 2 this year, it's like I was the one that was like pushing, like, okay, let's go do this, or you know, like the goat.
You wanted to make it happen.
Absolutely, and like I said when we were off air, it's like given the opportunity, I have a hard time saying no. You know, we all get that FOMO, and it's like I would have had some major regrets, like not making this last like goat hunt happen, even though it was like on a whim. It was like gotta go. And like, finally something paid off. You know, fall was a rough. I feel like
welcome to the rough fall club.
I know fall was a rough season for everybody. You know, it seemed like, you know, a handful.
It was hard.
Yeah, and even if they were successful, it wasn't easy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's like one of my favorite parts is just like sitting down, swapping stories, like hearing like, God, like, what did you guys see? What'd you experience? What'd you go through? It's like that's the best part about it, in my opinion.
Well, and I followed you through and through. Like, you know, you got into the black bear early for shrimping. I mean, you were getting out like all the time, and I was so envious of it. I've had seasons where I've had the privilege to get out with buddies with boats and enjoy that stuff, and so I could like relate to what you were doing, and it's been a while, and it reminded me like what cool shit's in our backyard. Like,
so close.
Not that it's been like that long. It's just seeing someone frequenting it. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Like, if you have a salt boat and you have the access and the time, and you got friends and a team, and you know your crew that'll go out with you, because that is helpful.
Well, that's the hard. That's one of the hard parts about any regular schedule. It's like
beautiful black bear.
Yeah, I was just putting it up there. But is that your boat?
Yeah, the landing craft.
The landing craft one.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
The hard part is it's like finding people with also on a regular schedule, that because I don't want to go out on a Saturday and Sunday.
Well, when everyone else is
out. It's a junk show, so it's
totally,
like my prime is Monday through Friday, you know, and a lot of people can't always make that work. But it's like nowadays, you know, whether it's like the school district or like working from home, it's like people can kind of make it work. So it's like May was wild. Like May was our summer, I feel like, and I just fucking got after it. Like skiing one day, shrimping the next day, like making this bear, you know, happen. That was really
Let me pull up the bear real quick, and I want to jump into that. Well, it was just
like cool that you were, you know, then there's like weather windows where you don't want to say no or like give up an opportunity or something because you're like, oh, I can't make it. I'll go do that later in the season.
Nope, can't.
It may not happen. So it's like when you have those weather days, you feel like a pressure.
That's what
to like, fuck, man, this is the day. Like when this is the day you're supposed to go do this thing. You know, the tide's right, whatever's right. You know what I mean? It's like.
I always had Noah pulled up, and it's like as soon as Whittier was like 10 and 2.
Look
and
at the water back there; it's glass.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was
2 years ago.
That was my first.
That was the first one, right?
Bear. Yep.
It looks like an evening bear.
That is a beautiful bear.
It was later afternoon.
It's a big boy too. Mm-hmm. What's your boat name?
Brown muzzle.
Squatting Dog.
Squatting Dog.
Yep. Per my dad, aka Burley, he named it.
Squatting Dog.
Squatting Dog.
But it's like, you know, people say, oh my God, you got so lucky on the weather. And it's like, I go when the weather's good. Like, I didn't get lucky on the weather. Like, I looked at the marine forecast, and it's like, I want to go when it's sunny and 10 and 2 and banging like that. It's like, so that's when I go.
Do you have a slip, or you got to bring that thing home?
I had it parked in a lot in Girdwood this last year. And right now it's at a friend's house in Anchorage for the winter, but next year I'll probably just buy a dry slip in Whittier and leave it parked there.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that, I mean, works best.
Well, when are we going to go get some deer, though?
For real.
Do you winter? Have you gone out in the winter in that?
Nope.
Oh.
We know some spots.
Yeah, I had to ask. It's just, it's a different.
It is, but just like anything, you got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's very true.
You got to get out there and do it. And we're not going to go when it's, you know, obviously you're looking at everything, make sure it's going to be,
and especially with kind of a flat bottom boat like this. And fuel capacity is the issue on this thing, because my dad had it built to haul materials back and forth to our cabin to have it built out at Big Lake. So it only holds 25 gallons.
Is there a good picture on here of it?
I
see some kind of angles of it, but.
Yeah, that's the front of it.
I see. So what are you packing, like 30, 40 gallons of extra fuel at times?
I have 2 30-gallon poly drums that, like, if I need to fill, you know. I've done that route before because it's like we've gone skiing out of the sound before.
It's
and
like
done like
115 on it or something?
130.
Oh, nice. Honda. Mm-hmm. Sweet.
And that does the job. But if it's like loaded down, you're kind of plowing. And there's a slight V to it. So it does okay in chop, but like I've definitely got like marooned in a few like
that
coves
thing,
before.
That thing would love a 150 Yami on it.
It would love dual. It would love
it has
bigger fuel tank.
Does it have an extended transom off the back, or are they mounted right on the back?
There's a transom on the back, but it wouldn't be wide enough. I'd have to have something else
to be modified.
Welded. Yeah.
I like how you have the name on the little life vest.
That'd be Burley.
On the life rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way cool. That's a really cool, like, unique boat.
Yeah.
It is.
That thing would probably kick ass on the Yukon.
I've heard that a lot.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That's like what those dudes run out there.
And you could put, like, you know, like 2 solars on the front of it and like gear and like solar.
You know, and that's one of those things. I've heard that before, and I'm not opposed. I would just like need to make sure I had the right people with me to like make that happen.
Yeah, navigate all that. And we're going to have to throw an auxiliary fuel tank in that thing.
Yeah.
25 gallons ain't going to cut it.
Absolutely not.
No.
Plus the 2 30-gallon. Probably
Yeah,
not
you might
even
have to
be
bring
enough.
like 455 gallons.
Yeah, that would be a thing. You know, I was getting ready to put, doing my recon, like getting ready to put in for tags next year.
Oh, I was just telling
He was just telling me that too.
I did the hard, like 3-hour geek today.
The draw.
Oh, man, I did. Well, in 3 hours, I only went through the bison and the moose, and I just brushed on the sheep because I'm doing a lot of youth hunt stuff. So I'm like looking up stuff for Mateo.
So like you looked up the supplement like from last year? Did you go that
No,
far?
I haven't yet. I'm just looking at like what are the options right now? Where do I want to go? What can I do? And then I'll go like it's and I'm starting now, which I've never started this early, and I'm kind of happy that I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm also putting in stuff for like my dad, and like
right.
now I'm like thinking like, why am I not putting stuff in?
Well,
for my
and
mom?
I was also doing some like reading on like all the whole thing about like the sheep meeting that happened last week, like reading all like the public statement comments on like depending on like what Fish and Game's gonna do in regards to sheep like next year. That was super interesting, and it's like that's a whole other rabbit hole, and I've been like. Asking people like what do you think? What do you think? I just like want to hear people's like opinions on it, and especially like at work, like I'm surrounded by guys that hunt, but then also guide also. So it's like quite an interesting dichotomy of like, okay, well, from those 2 different angles, it's like, well, what do you see? The common thing is like everybody says something needs to change. Everybody agrees on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then pinpointing like what is that thing?
What does that look like?
Right. Mm-hmm. Is everyone willing to sacrifice, a few years hunting if it goes to the 4-year or, draw? It's like, I don't know, how does that going to work? Like if we put in for tags this year, they could, right, just change it, right? If there's like an emergency order or these are the rules, like you could be awarded a tag in February and then when they decide, is it March?
I don't know.
When they decide, it's like, okay, just kidding. That's not going to happen.
And on that topic, I've been talking, and I was talking with Jack, and I've talked with Brandon and Chad, and if they go with that, where it's like a break, and you have to like do the 4-year thing, which I'm okay with. I'm trying to spin it on the positive way because I've been wanting to do these other crazy long, like 10-day, like you would a sheep hunt. But what if you did like a 10-day crazy like deer hunt? You know what I'm saying? Or some other crazy like caribou hunt where you're like going to these places where you normally probably wouldn't go, and these other opportunities where it's like you can still get out there and do like a similar,
like an epic adventure.
Exactly. But you're just going for something different.
10-day out of your backpack style.
Yeah, like how awesome would it be to do a 10-day.
And that's the thing. Not everybody's willing to sacrifice, like going to hunt sheep every year.
Yeah, the mountain hunt.
Right, which is a bummer, and like I consider myself somebody that likes, it's like an interesting point of view. Like I wouldn't call myself a sheep hunter. I feel like I haven't necessarily earned the privilege to call myself that because I haven't killed one. But like I love to go sheep hunting.
You don't have to kill one.
I disagree with that. I think that once you've actually done it, and especially you've gone on a couple, like getting it is just like the smallest little like cherry on top. You still enjoy the whole Sunday.
Absolutely. But
you know what I mean?
Man, there's something about being that one on the trigger, though, It's like I've been on a few successful ones, but I've never been the one. So
I mean, I think if you're along for the ride, you're a sheep hunter. I don't. It would be unfair to tell a guy who's like grinded it out for 5 years in a row who hasn't gotten a sheep, but he's like waiting his turn because he goes with these other 4 dudes.
Sure, he's got to wait for the coin flip,
right? But he's doing the deed and carrying the meat out and doing it. You're still sheep hunting.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the guides that guide all season, and then maybe they get a chance to go on their own. Like they're still sheep hunting.
Yeah,
like they're out there helping other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to feel like a fraud or like a
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. went through all the motions.
So
you did the research. You bought the gear. You outlasted. You climbed. You sweated. You froze. You did it all.
You did your own preparation. You sacrificed your time from family and work and like.
Yeah.
You want the cherry though.
I do. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's just when you carry some meat and a set of horns on your back out. It is a very.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, it feels like the top.
Yeah. It's like
shit.
Nothing, you know.
Yeah, because like carrying a moose sucks.
You're like, I don't want to carry that one.
I mean, carrying a sheep kind of sucks too, but that really sucks.
Yeah, I had like this like fantasy, you know, about like when we were out sheep hunting this last year. It's like we got close once, sublegal, but like we got close and it was awesome, you know. But like the whole like hike up, I'm just visualizing like, okay, I'm gonna text this person, ram down. Like, that's what's gonna, you know what I mean? And I'm like putting it into the mother nature, putting it into the universe. You know, and that particular day, like we ended up sitting and looking at this one really close for a long time, and it was awesome. And we were like, couldn't make a mate. And that seems like a pretty common trend for this year. And some people ended up fucking shooting anyways.
Yeah, that's
you know?
unfortunate.
Oh my God. Like, and I briefly read through, you know, some of the notes from that meeting and like seeing the amount of sublegal sheep that were taken by residents. Okay, you know, mistakes happen, but then like by guides, I was kind of shook by like the percentage that were taken from
honestly,
hunts.
the pressure, and then too, like, I don't know, man. I think there's something about maybe the dynamic that's created when like you two guys are on a sheep like that, and the shooter's like feeling good about it, but the guy watching it isn't. Or maybe the guy watching it is and the shooter's not. And then like that mental game. And then I think sometimes it just gets the best of some hunters where they unfortunately don't let their patience and what they know they're supposed to do. They don't exercise that judgment.
Yeah. Sure.
And then that's where you get like guides who are getting sublegals. I think it's just like you sit and watch it long enough. You start to tell yourself,
you see what you
how
want to
can
see.
I make it like a legitimate thing? And then now you're playing this mental like battle, and that could be hours or days or whatever that you're doing this. And so I think to like, I don't know, man, I guess I'm not trying to justify it in any way. I'm just saying that if you are not disciplined in it, if discipline is not your first and foremost, like most important thing that you're thinking about before you pull a trigger, that's where that doubt can set in. You can make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like you have to know when and when not to do it. And I'm sure a lot of those guys knew, but it's just like,
God, but what a shitty
got the
feeling
best of
to
them.
go, you know, like what a shitty feeling to like either be like the shooter or the guide, and you go to bring it in and it's like, nope, sorry. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to like last year.
Throw up.
Well, even when like if you backtrack and once you decided and you shoot, it doesn't matter. Like I thought I was 100% sure that mine was legal when I got mine.
Oh, definitely.
But even when you walk up to it, you're in your mind, you're like, oh man, I hope so. You still want to like know for 110%, you know?
Yeah, because it messes with you. Like you're sure already, but then there's just this like natural sense of like, I don't want to say it's like a sense of doubt. It just, you just need that like confirmation.
But then once you get hands on and you can count or like, okay, like, whew.
Yeah.
It is.
Just a little reassurance and like you could take a breath.
It's like even goes with like putting a moose down and counting brow tines and being like, oh yeah, I counted 3.
Yeah.
Counted 3 for sure. Boom, shot it. You know, you got to it 20 minutes later and just like, 1, 2, 3. See,
I wasn't crazy.
Yeah. Like, but it is again, like you are sure, but like there's something weird that isn't so sure until your hands on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just amplified on sheep, isn't it?
Has to be. It's 100%. Like a higher risk, higher reward.
Yeah, a lot of confiscated, and it's a bummer to those that happened to, but ultimately, good on them for turning these sheep in and not just like taking them and boiling them up and throwing them in your garage and not saying nothing about it.
Sure.
Like, it's cool that, like,
But what a
they're willing
bummer
to
for
come.
the dude that thinks.
But
then, yeah,
well,
he
that
knows.
was
He
a
knows
positive.
now.
Yeah, like he's
hey,
stoked. He's gonna go get it
look
sealed.
at that thing on the wall.
Yeah,
No,
oh my
that's
gosh.
brutal. Like, I mean, that's the part I'm talking about, is like
Yeah,
thinking it was all good, and yeah.
But I think you're right, Daniel. It's like there's so. I mean, granted, it seems like sheep's at the top of the pyramid, but there's so many cool things to do.
yeah, like an epic moose float is like just a good of feeling as like an epic like sheep hunt.
Barren ground mountain caribou hunt.
Yeah, things like
Flying
that
would be sick,
There's a lot of other 10-day hunts that you could do that will fill that same need and I guess relieve some pressure on the sheep
If that's
what they're gonna do.
sure.
Um,
You're talking a 4-year, just shut it down.
kind of like the toque deal. Like you can go in, but you can't go there back for 4 years.
Oh, you're saying though, if
you
you
shoot one
take
and
an
you're
animal in 2023, you're going to
You're ineligible.
forfeit for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
I
they're
don't really
doing
mind
that.
that, man. I don't really mind that.
I could live with that all day. I mean, especially if you think about like the growing popularity and maybe where you have groups of 2, 3, and 4. So it's like, well, if you're going with 3 or 4 dudes,
Great. Then
and
you're
gonna
going with
do
your
a
buddy
plan,
next year.
Yeah, it's like that
You got a
dude's
group of
up
4
and,
dudes.
and then like now you're out and then
That's not that much different than how it goes anyways.
I mean, that
is how it goes.
like to
I mean,
play it.
in our experience, we went to the Brooks Range, I don't know, 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And
You're
it was
up and
on,
it's
a,
up.
was
on a
like-
batting order. It was just how
It was
we're
like,
gonna
you're
do
up,
it.
you're up.
Yeah.
You didn't get one. We didn't get one. You're still up.
Sure.
Totally.
And that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, it was just, it's
You know,
just
and
better
that's coming
that way.
from somebody that's never even shot one before, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
I mean, that's an arguable like way, drawing straws, whatever the thing is. An old man taught me or suggested to me one time that a batting order was really just kind of the way to roll if you're doing something like continuously or annually.
Yeah. Well, then there's no weirdness. There's no like, well,
Oh,
you just
I wanna
know
shoot
coming
another
into
one.
it.
It's like you can't.
Well, and I feel
Go support somebody else or take somebody else who's never been
well,
sheep hunting
yeah, and I
before.
feel like it's like gives that person that moment, even if it is multiple seasons in a row, you're still all experiencing it the same.
I mean, think of the build up. I mean, we're already, it's like, once a year type of deal. Imagine if it was every 4, or after every time you shot one, it's like, how much more excited?
Yeah.
Like, would somebody
Decided or
be?
destroyed may you be, but all good.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's,
Yeah, if you passed on one or whatever.
yeah.
Passed, missed, didn't get.
I guess it's going to be interesting to see what the thoughts are on that. I feel like my gut tells me there'll be more folks with that mindset. Like, hey, it's all right, cool. That's a compromise.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to have to be a compromise.
Yeah.
And those that don't,
I don't know about
it's like,
draw.
well, you're
yet.
not, you're not thinking about the conservation. Like if, people just want to go whack a sheep every year.
You can't.
No, that's
Not
not,
everyone
realistic.
can whack sheep every
Well,
year.
some
You
guys
just can't.
can
And have.
and are doing it.
Yeah.
And kudos to them that they're getting into spots and they're doing the work and they found the honey hole or learned the honey hole or whatever.
Plenty,
Yeah.
And one buddy in particular, like he's shot a 40 before and talked to him this last year and he was successful and he's like, it was a good sheep, wasn't a great sheep, but he's like, I will never like do that again. He's like, from here on out, it's like they're looking for something special.
Yeah.
And I think that's the more experience you get, that's just a natural way that you gravitate
It's like an
towards.
evolution of your
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mediocre doesn't cut it. Or, not that a legal sheep is mediocre, but it's like they understand how special the opportunity is. And so it's like they're looking for that next.
Well, and then, the idea of it's always in just the rule, like take the big old ones.
Right.
I mean, that's it. That's the ones that take out of the population.
Yeah.
That's just there's no like anything you can't argue with science on that. They don't reproduce anymore. They're just taking food source.
Yeah.
Do you guys know, I did have a question I asked somebody and they actually didn't know, but like what is the age of sheep when they stop?
Reproducing?
Yeah.
Like able to reproduce?
I don't know what that is.
They say that's why it's 8. They say it's after 8.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why they kind of
There's
made
like a
it that.
decline after 8.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they still
Like the percentage
do.
of sheep that don't even live past like 10 is crazy.
Right.
It's just like
Down.
big decline.
Yep.
So
Interesting.
yeah, let's take a quick second. We'll be right back.
I got a piss.
The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Bonefish Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day, because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
What was the gentleman's name? BHA?
The new guy?
Yeah.
Let me look it up really
I just want to give him
quick.
a shout out for reaching out and what you were mentioning to Emily before. What was their?
So BHA, this is the national, and for people that might not know, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, they're having a photo contest right now on their national website. If you got some cool stuff, and Emily was just talking how she got a new camera for some of her stuff, and I was telling her how I like to submit.
I just got one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
I just got one. Like a, I just
Like a camera or like a what do they call that? It's an acronym. DGC or something.
I just, after this goat hunt, I had some people be like, you need to do something with those pictures, and the quality was decent, but not good because it was just with an iPhone.
Right. Which most of us are taking our shots with.
Yeah. So I had a buddy at work that's quite experienced in photography, and he was like, this is a good starter camera. So I was just like, send me a link, I'll buy it. And that's what I did. And so I've just been tinking around with it.
Okay. I haven't quite taken it out. You taking a Kodiak for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, like those photos I snapped at Symphony Lake the other day. I don't know if you guys saw those. Like that was with my new camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull it up real quick. His first name is James.
Yeah,
he's
sorry
a new,
to put you on the spot, Daniel.
No,
I just wanted
James. Oh man, I'm gonna screw it up. Sorry, James. Majetich, Majetich.
Is he Russian?
Something.
He's something. James is something.
European, some sort of.
Matanuska.gym is his Instagram handle. Anyway, he's the new coordinator for Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and just want to kind of give him a shout out. I pressed him, and I pressed Brad and Dave, who we had on the show. We need an Anchorage Pike Night.
Oh.
And so I said, Brad, and I told James, I said, let's do this, man.
That's right. They have the pint nights.
I think that's a great idea. and it's a way to get people in there to sign up for BHA.
It's every month, right?
Have a night. Well, they haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
And so I was like, when
Probably
is it?
somebody
Like,
to
let's
organize
get
it.
the ball rolling. So
Cool.
I texted Brad, the big guy. He's, I don't know if you know Brad. He is Heather's man from Heather's Choice. Anyway, super cool guy. Nice. And so he's kind of in charge of setting up some of the events out there around Anchorage. And I said, dude, we need this pint night. Like, now's the time. Cool. Everyone's back. No one's doing much. Everyone's ready for a pint. And he said he's on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
What was I going to look up?
The camera, the Symphony Lake.
Oh, Symphony Lake. Yeah.
Symphony Lake.
I just put it on my story, but I can show you guys in person.
Well, in previously we were talking about
airdrop it to me.
Okay.
Oh, that photo right there, is that Texas with the sunset?
Oh, is this where you're out there wakeboarding?
Sick.
Yeah. Emily does it all, man.
That looks so sick. That's badass.
I'm gonna airdrop. Are you just riding the wake? There's no line there?
Nope.
Just surfing it.
Yeah, so
how do you get up? You get up and then you let go?
Yeah, brother's got a wake surf boat, so it's like technology these days, push of a button, like you can do the left side
tanks,
or the right side, the ballast is in the back.
Oh,
so it's
I
like
didn't know
depending
that.
if you're regular or goofy. You just push a button and then the getting up is the hard part. Bless my dad's heart. He's 71 years old and he was like breaking it down, like watching me do it, watching my bro do it, and he was trying so hard. And like, God, we wanted him to get up so bad.
Oh, that was like me when Taj was trying to teach me to snowboard, how to surf in Hawaii, dude. I was like, I apologize, Taj.
Yeah.
I can't do it, dude. I can't get
hard,
up on
but
the
like once
thing.
you figure out the mechanics, it's like you're laying on your back, the board's flat on the water, you dig your heels in, and as soon as like whoever's driving the boat just like gives her gas, like you dig your heels in and kind of just like pop up. I mean,
I thought that wakeboarding was way easier when Alexia's family used to have the cabin out there on Big Lake. I tried skiing a lot, and I would just do like the spread. Dude, is that just? I just couldn't get it, and then I was like, let me try the wakeboard.
It's definitely some leg groin strength for sure.
Yeah, and the wakeboard, it was like boom right away, like you're on it.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, because I got a cabin out at Big Lake too, and it's like I have a cousin that's got like a wake surf boat, and it's so fun. Like grew up like water skiing and stuff too.
Yeah. Do you
so there it is.
I don't ever see you ice fishing though. What's up? You trying to get in on this?
I don't be ice fishing that much. Like I'm not opposed to it. Again, like don't
you got the cabin out there?
Don't put an opportunity my way. I can't say no.
I'm gonna invite you. Then you can't say no.
Yeah.
You come out with us and Dustin, and we go out for a weekend and stay at one of these lakes and camp out there and fish all day and night and caribou calls and
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just like camping.
My place at Big Lake, there's people that troll all right on the point of where my place is. And I've caught some trout off the deck before. I know there's been some monster pike caught out of Big Lake too.
Oh, it's great ice fishing out there.
Yeah.
It's really, really good fishing.
I guess I'm just busy. I mean, not busy, but it's like my priorities are like backcountry skiing or playing hockey, but like definitely not opposed to like throwing another thing in the mix. That's what I'm.
Sure, you could probably punch some holes right out in front of your place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People do.
Yeah.
Not opposed.
It's fun. Yeah. It's fun. It's real fun.
Coming. That's right around the corner too. In fact, I was looking at the photo there. That's the lake's starting to freeze.
Yeah, it is right there. That's Symphony Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that?
Up Highland Road.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 5 miles back.
Was the trail pretty slick?
Oh my gosh! There were these, monster bear tracks too.
Oh, still cruising around. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty neat. God, one of probably like my favorite things to do in the winter is like you got to time it just right and like be ready to go, just like anything awesome. But it's like when Portage freezes over. Have you guys skated out there?
Yes, I go with the kids. Yeah,
gosh.
like in the beginning. Like when it's still clear and there hasn't been any snow and it's, oh man, it's so cool to like jump between the little things.
Jump between, and like sometimes when those little snow patches aren't even there and you can ice a puck and it's just like miles.
Yep.
Like what cooler of I remember I was out there one time and it felt like a postcard. There were people ice skating, fat tire biking, like kite sailing, like cross country skiing, walking, running, like you named it. It was just like, Jesus Christ,
just right
this
there.
is so cool.
Going on in one spot.
Yeah.
Because of frozen water.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like you skate all the way back
It's
to
such
the
a cool
glacier,
area.
and that's like a 2.5 mile, skate bike or whatever you're doing back. And it's like, there's nothing cooler.
Well, we had
Fresh.
Luke Mellon. I don't know if you heard his podcast. He's really big into Nordic. It's called Nordic skating.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And so they're doing like really long distance stuff, you know what I
Crazy.
mean, which is awesome. And obviously they have to portage over like some spots where there's
Yeah.
snow or whatever. But I'm sure he's gearing up for that. If you guys aren't following Luke Mel, definitely get on his Instagram.
Cool.
I think it is just Luke_Mel.
Yeah.
He wrote the
Backpacker.
not backpackers, pack rafters
Pack
guide.
Rafters guide.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
his
an
newfound
epic
love
Alaskan
was
stuff.
the-
I share his stuff as much as I can. He's always posting a lot of safety stuff, like quick water rescue,
Yeah.
ice rescue, a lot of ice rescue stuff,
I bet.
which is important, especially out there ice fishing. Anything can
Oh, damn,
happen,
big
or
time.
skating or whatever. Just his techniques, and he actually goes and like will fall in and like show the video of it and how to do
Whoa.
it and all that stuff. It's rad.
There's another
good
Facebook
awareness.
group that I follow that's legit like what they do too. It's like go around to some of like the ponds and they measure and like they'll let you know, okay, this is good for skating. This one's a little bit,
Yeah.
They're
shallow.
actually going out and making
you
the
need to wait
determination.
a few more inches or whatever. And it's like that. It's like super beneficial for like people that want to go out and skate because it's like I'm not gonna sit
Yeah.
there and measure shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're just gonna go.
yeah.
Thank
it's
you.
gonna-
I'll just come.
Yeah. Start
So
skating in
extra
overflow.
frozen.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was out at Portage one of those times when like the glacier. I always get this wrong. Is it calved? Calved.
Calved.
A
Calved,
huge,
like it
a
rolled.
Calved. It
a
broke
huge
off.
chunk came off,
Calved.
and like this was happening like under our feet. Like if
On
you-
the ice.
Yes.
Oh, I
It-
never experienced
It was spring. It was
Whoa.
springtime on like a Sunday, and somebody like had built like a little margarita bar and was like making margaritas out of like glacial ice. Like
Oh,
it did
yeah.
not get more Alaskan. Like this is wild. And yeah, like some of the ice was like broken off, but it was still like super thick. So
It held.
it held, but it was waving under our feet. I'm like, okay, we're too close.
Huge sense of helplessness there, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah, some of what's his face rescue techniques probably would have came in handy.
Yeah,
then.
Mel's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fuck around and find out.
I wanted to mention too. So I was in Barney's in the spring, and he sells those Nordic skates.
Oh, the long ones.
The long skates. Yeah, they're like a special.
Funny, I just don't know if I'd be able to like not wear hockey skates.
No, I want.
No, we couldn't do that. But like somebody else could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mel mentioned
Too
man,
cool
it's like
for that. I don't wear Crocs either.
way less. Yeah.
Where's Crocs? That's why I call him Burley. Every time I post a picture of my dad, I'm like, Crocs, sponsor this guy. He calls them his running, jumping, biking, kicking shoes. And then obviously the heel is the 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't wear anything else, and he won't transition to a new pair until his old pair have like worn
Dilapidated.
a hole in the heel. Till the bottom looks like the top with all the holes.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's like every year we get him new Crocs, and they're just lined up on the top of his shelf, tags on. It's so
that's funny.
That's all he wears.
I just can't. I don't
And I ended up getting him these Crocs for his birthday last year, but they were like down. They're like have you seen those?
know. They're like insulated.
Insulated, but
so
they
many
like
different
come up
ones,
like
man.
mid ankle, and they have a drawstring up top, and you slide your foot in. And he just said they're so he wears those are like his morning Crocs when he gets up. Then he has his afternoon Crocs and like
okay.
evening Crocs.
Dang,
That's
just
why
crocked out.
That's why I call him Burley. I'm like, sponsor this guy, Crocs. You're listening. Sponsor my dad.
Just lifelong crocker. Dude, I'm all about it.
What's
all
the what's like? I mean, doing all this stuff and being a firefighter, like what's the workout regimen, like fitness? Do you have something that is like I'm doing a class every this day, or are you just so busy that you kind of stay fit just with all the things you're doing?
I feel like I use my time at the station, and since I've gotten a little bit older, like figured out this is just as much of an importance as like lifting as anything else, but like the mobility aspect of things.
Putting your socks on?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for what, like I got back, I was out in the mountains for like a lot of August and then another week in September. And then like I felt my body was kind of like nothing really happened, but I got back from this trip. I went in Salt Lake and like one day I went over to put my socks on. I was like, what the my back just like seized up.
Sounds like Monday.
Never happened to me before though. I've always just been able to like rely on my body to make it do anything that I want to do. And so when I was down in Texas, I saw my bro's like PT guy and he like was grinding in my psoas and like ended up getting this like release for me. But that had never happened before. So it's like, I'm realizing now, as stubborn as I am, that's like mobility needs to take like a kind of higher priority. But like I do, a lot of different things, like work out every day at work. Like I go to a CrossFit gym, try to get out in the mountains, hockey. It's like,
You're active.
yeah. Like I'm not good at just like sitting around, and I got a dog. It's like, so he's a good excuse. Like, so I don't follow necessarily any particular regimen. I just like to make sure I'm like going and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard something that's like really good as far as like Alzheimer's and for older folks. Like just
What are you trying to say?
keep moving. I'm talking for myself. Okay.
Damn, Emily, how old are you?
I'll be the first one there. I'll be the first one there. Hey, you don't ask that. I thought you said we don't ask.
Hey, don't say that.
Yeah,
Hey,
you don't say that. You need to ask John that.
John's over here fucking moose camps at 54 years and hauling shit around. He's a beast.
Have you gone on any of these? We have the girls from Soarin' Summit coming. Have you been on any of these? I think the women retreats that like Erica's doing and Tana and the Soarin' Summit girls, and also I forget her outdoor journey.
Courtney.
So
I don't think I told you.
Things that they're doing.
Courtney's coming with me.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
On the Kodiak trip?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's not like a retreat thing. That's like you guys doing something.
No. We're going to go fuck shit up.
Yeah. Oh, really? Is she going to be in town for a minute? I want to get her on.
Like, I think she's going to stay at the airport because it's like we fly out Friday, she flies in Friday.
Okay, it's just a quick.
Yeah.
And I want to get her on.
So it's like that was one, like I met her on that second hunt that I went on this in September. That was her, sheep hunt or caribou hunt. She just posted a video the other day.
Yep,
she
awesome
does some
video.
Great editing. Like,
Yep, she's really good at what she does.
yeah. And so, she let me tag along. And so I returned the favor and I'm like, didn't think she was going to say she'd be able to. But she was like, yeah, let me look at some logistics and I'm going to see if I can make it work. So it's like she invited me or let me come on hers. So it's like I invited her to come on mine. And so I think it's going to be great. It's like I've only been on one hunt with her. Like I don't know her super well, but it's like we got to spend some time together in the mountains on her hunt. So yeah, I'm stoked. It's going to be super cool.
Have you been on any of those like retreats where there's like, 12 girls or whatever?
No, I haven't. And I've seen those.
But I almost feel like your guys' girls group, like
we do that.
Been doing that before it like became a thing.
It's so funny because like I think I said something to Courtney when we were out. I was like, God, those retreats are just like popping up everywhere. Not knowing that she was also like had one like, Sitka 2023. I was like, oh shit, you had one planned too. Yeah. My bad.
I'm in.
I mean, like that's a Tuesday, It's like, like that's great for people that maybe don't have access to a lot of that stuff. But I feel like, the connections are something that's like probably awesome. But like we've got all the resources available to us, like up here. It's like you just got to go do them.
So you think it's almost like something that local girls that are obviously doing it all the time are putting together for people trying to get into it, or like out-of-staters?
Maybe.
I think that's cool.
I think there's like
there's
many different capacities,
so
many different capacities, and like people that are at different points in like their outdoor or hunting or like harvest, like whatever you want to call it. They're at like different points of that in their life, and when I was like trying to figure out some stuff. Like I messaged Tana a handful of times, and she was great. She, I've never met her before.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're quite like-minded, individuals. So she was super helpful. Like when I had questions about like a rifle or, like a Kodiak, like her Kodiak hunt she went on. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go. So it's just.
Does it almost like create a level of comfort? As far as like, because you could have reached out to me or Chad or you probably have a whole bunch of dudes you could have reached out to and asked those questions.
Yeah.
But instead you went to someone you didn't even know, but who you knew what they were talking about.
Sure. And
like, that's what I mean by that. Does it kind of give it like let me just holler at homegirl real quick and see what she thinks.
I think so too. But like, man, I was like, anybody that had any advice about anything, I'm like, yep. And that was like the one thing I learned real quick is like people have their preferences on what works for them.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to hearing everybody's input and advice on like what they're into, and then like I'll pick and choose through all
Out of
these
that,
pieces of advice on like what I think will work for me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, just like seeing what sticks. And,
well, that's a great outlook at it, especially when you're going down like the gear road, which I'd love to get into.
Not brand loyal by any means, but it's like, what worked for you? Great. Okay, I'm going to try that. Okay, I'm going to not try that. Or I liked it or I didn't like it. It's like, I don't have any loyalty to any one particular brand, style, or anything. It's like, because I'm like kind of that new, like the last handful of years I was using hand-me-downs or backups or whatever. This year it was like quite a lucrative year where it's like I got all my own shit now, and it's like I like what works, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna buy something else.
Try something else.
Well, there's
new.
also the angle of like women's outdoor gear. I mean, it seems to be evolving, and there's a lot more options out there now as far as like actual things that are tailored for women.
Yeah.
Versus like having to go with some sort of like ski brand or climbing brand. Whereas now there's actual hunting brands like Sitka or QU, or I know maybe Stone Glacier might have some stuff that's actually like tailored for like women.
Yeah. The only women-specific thing that I've tried so far is like a few KUIU tops, and I was into them. Like they were cool. Like I guess I'm not built like a typical like petite female. So a lot of like men's stuff does kind of fit me, and I'm just like make it work. And I think that's probably what a lot of women in the outdoors were like used to.
Totally. They were.
Just like, you just make it work. And I'm definitely not opposed to like, once I'm ready, like expanding and trying other brands and new things that are geared specifically towards women. Like, I think that's great. We need it,
Yeah, there's a lot of room there. I think there's a lot of room there for these companies to create items that are specific for women. You know?
It's blowing up.
Definitely. And there's been some on board, but I haven't seen that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if the demand is maybe higher now with like the growing popularity in hunting and the social media, social side of it or whatever. Yeah, like not saying. I mean, I think there's a mix of like people just wanting to buy the fresh, really good looking shit and out doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Or they're actually like buying the technical gear for the technical use.
Oh, for it actually hunting. Working.
Yeah, and I think that maybe there's the growing popularity has now spurred more of a demand for like the effort to put forth products and do more designs maybe than before. Like in other words, there's more possibility it's going to sell versus if they made stuff before that. The growing popularity might help sell.
Well, you made a great point, and Emily can attest to this too. You might hear of something that you like, or like, for example, if you're just like a weekend warrior, you're just going to go on the boat to go halibut fishing and you want to buy this certain jacket that you heard was awesome, but that's not going to work on a 10-dayer where this is like the one you got to have. And I know that you told me, I don't want to bust it out, but the jacket that you bought, it like failed. 100% failed. That rain jacket that you bought back on your first like sheep hunt or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've gone a different route, but that's like, all that type of stuff is like a part of it. It's a part of learning like what works for you, what works, like what's going to work on a 10-day sheep hunt in Brooks Range is going to be different than what works, in a different, a deer hunt in July or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of that. And that leads me kind of to my next question. Like, what are some like key favorite pieces that you have now, and maybe something that you have your eye on that you want to like give a try.
Cool. You know, early season, and it's funny, I know you guys talked about these, but those Barney's pants were money. And they were immense.
The puffy ones?
No.
Or
No, his gray ones, his like hunting pants, synthetic ones.
Synthetic, for like a 4-way stretch, side zip, cargo pocket.
The name of it.
The ones I hemmed too short.
Right, the ones, they come unhemmed. So
which is awesome, which is a great idea.
Great idea.
But make sure that you get measured right.
Yeah, seriously. That was like a favorite for sure.
Those are like, man, I love those pants for spring and summer. I didn't rock them on the later season because they seem a little lighter compared to some other ones. But man, for like, I even started just like wearing them under my waders. Like for going fishing and stuff like that.
I've seen a lot of people even wearing like their casual pants.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Know?
Yeah.
So
just
that's
hit them up at the club.
Yeah, we be clubbing. we be clubbing.
Frontier Gear of Alaska.
So those were some of like for sure my favorite ones. Like this August, September. I did just splurge on a Kifaru pullover from Barney's.
Nice.
That I like.
That one
was open for, like the one that's there. Like there aren't any.
Did you
other
get the
ones.
green one or the brown one or the camel?
Are you talking about the puffy with the
tougher material on the pouch?
Has a Cordura, big
I
pocket.
think those are badass, dude. It's like an anorak.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a really sick jacket.
Yeah, so I got that essentially like for Kodiak, thinking like, okay, there's potential. It's going to be super cold, like
wet.
Yeah, I mean, like I just want to be warm, so it's like
it's money.
So that's one that I'm looking forward to like really like trying out.
Yeah, it's almost been too warm yet to bust it out.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, the other morning it was a little crisp. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go walk moose. And I just had a t-shirt on underneath. I was like, oh my God, moose, we got to turn back.
It's too hot.
Mama's sweating.
Yeah, pack this thing. Lost Parka.
The Lost Parka.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. I think it's badass.
And then I did order recently from Kuyu. They're a men's, but they're like a down full zip, not like the major puffy. I forget what they're called.
The pants.
But this will be the first time I get to try those out too. And
those are awesome for like now fishing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
under your waders.
For all this like late season trout and steelhead and stuff like that. Oh, they're money.
And with the full zip, it's like that's a game changer. Yeah. So like when you do overheat, which you will, then you just pull down your waders a little bit, and you don't have to take your boots off and everything.
Yeah.
I am really, really excited to see how these sheep feet do.
I want some so bad. I need some.
You
My
got some of
feet
those, huh?
from soccer, Emily.
Did you take them sheep hunting already?
No.
Or you're trying them out for the first time?
First time.
Oh.
So it's like I got them on this last one, and I love my Crispi Boots. I got my Crispi Boots from Barney's, and I have like the super feet in there because I've got like a really high instep, and so the balls of my feet, like depending on the terrain, mileage, like it feels like they're getting stabbed with a knife.
Right here?
Yeah. Right on my balls.
Oh, yours is yours. So let's say this is your foot and this is your ball right here.
Those are my
it's
balls.
here?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Like in through the toe, like all the things.
Oh my God. I have
right
the
where my
same
balls
thing.
are.
I think that's from wearing soccer cleats forever.
Gotta be. Freaking copas.
I get it too. And then if you accidentally like stump
formed your foot.
the copa mundials, man, fuck this up. And then if you accidentally like bump your
Soccer
foot
players,
like
huh?
forward ways.
Kicking on a rocker. So, oh my God, it's like radiates up your leg. Okay. So it's like I ordered them as soon as I got back from this last Courtney's hunt. Because I'm like, okay, this is not going to go anymore. I can't be hiking around trail shoes. Like, this is foolish.
Yeah.
And then when I happened to go down to Salt Lake City, so I got the molds, you know, like he does. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah, the
with that
process.
program.
Yep.
So did the
Send
molds,
it in,
sent it back. And I was down in Salt Lake, and I hadn't like heard any dialogue back yet. And so I called up, and Caleb ended up answering the phone, the guy that owns the small family-run operation. I'm like, hi, my name's Emily. You know, I ordered some sheep feet, and I happen to be in town. Like, any chance those are ready? He's like, oh, yeah, they're right here. Actually, I can kind of rush them and finish them up if you just want to come by and get them. So
Go figure.
It was like 35 minutes away from where John Sturgeon's son and my best friend live.
Oh, that's right. Because he mentioned Texas.
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, I mean.
Yep.
I'm still at Texas we were talking about on the brain.
So he was like, yeah, I'll stay. I got a meeting, I'll stay a little bit late. Just come grab him.
No.
So I headed down there, met Caleb at his shop, and he's super
cool. Got to shake his hand and see his operation and all that.
See the operation, small family run op, like there was some older woman in there, like, putting up inserts and things. And I'm like, that's gotta be his mom. Like it was really cool. And all the ones that I'd seen had like that camo footbed, and he was like, after we chatted for a while, and he was like, oh, you're from Alaska and you hunt like this and this. He's like, I'm going to put these footbeds in yours. And they were like a blue squishier one, I guess.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's like, this is what you need. He's like, God, I've always wanted to come up there. I'm like, well, you got to connect now. Like if you ever want to come up, like hit me up, happy to point you in the right direction at least or something. He was a really cool dude.
What a cool experience to get to order a product and hear about it and then see the process
behind the scenes a little bit, and it was cute. There was somebody else that was in there that was like, oh, can we take a picture together, and I was just over here in the corner like, hi, I'm just here to pick up some inserts.
I need to make that order. I've been rocking the Super Feet and my arch is insane. It's not enough. I need to just order that and get, because you can get multiple. I need it for all my shoes. My skates. I think I need it for my hockey skates.
Absolutely. And I think they keep your mold on file. And the first thing Kevin even said, he was like, God, I'm trying to figure out a way to get those in the shop, Oh.
And I'm should have the mold. He should just have those, because they send you the box with the mold, right?
You should just have blank molds in there. Yeah. And I was like, well, I met Caleb. I might be able to make an intro or something, And he said he'd reached out a few times and hadn't got a response. But
yeah. Well, sometimes you're starting off small business, you and your mom or whoever. It's tough to. I'm sure he's getting orders from all over the place.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's probably hard to fill.
It's like that's
what
just
the demand
not.
Is right now.
It's just wasn't what I anticipated. You think sheep feet. You think operation factory warehouse type deal. And you go and it's just him in there. He and his mom and a few other
that's
people.
Cool. That's awesome.
The coolest. Yeah, and that's how those.
Because you call and it's he's going to answer the phone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Or
it was so funny, and there was bad reception where I was trying to talk to him. So I was like, looks like an iPhone. It's like, fuck it. FaceTime.
Oh, you hit him with the FaceTime? Dang.
I was looking away. I'm like, Caleb, are you decent? No. But I was like, sorry, I had to call you over Wi-Fi, and I could have just done the audio, I guess. But I'm like, it was pretty funny. And he answered. You know what I mean?
It's like somebody FaceTimes you. It's like,
well, I guess they know me. I guess I'll answer. What am I about to see? Yeah. The balls of their feet hurt? They're just their balls.
What about sleeping bag?
That is so brutal.
How many do you have? I feel like a man needs or a woman needs 3.
How many does a woman need?
I've got a warm one. I've got a warm one.
You're not rocking that in July though, on the boat or on Kenai.
No, and I've just got an old busted,
Oh, so you're in the market.
What's happening?
Like
you guys trying to find somebody with a double, and it's like who wants to share a bag?
We found the triple.
Kyle's bag.
We have a thruple bag.
Have you seen Kyle Sellers' sleeping bag?
All 3 of us and Kyle fit in there.
Yeah, we
probably for sure. You just go down in the bottom part.
That's so funny. Hey, what's going on up there?
Yeah.
I need to breathe. Jesus.
Bring moose too. Moose fit in there.
Some smoked trout or
yeah, I've just for summertime bags, I've gone to go do that a Clear Creek trip a few times, and it's that one is warm. When we go, it'd be July or something. And
Clear Creek's that Talkeetna? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you need just a sheet. Like a sheet sleeping bag.
You don't even almost need one. You just need a pad, you know. And
but I feel like I gotta have something on me.
I know. I like to
they need to make the super thin one.
Yeah,
the sheet,
just a blanket. I think Stone Glacier. I just had a buddy telling me Stone Glacier just made a blanket that
Oh, like a quilty one? Yeah, Kifaru
But that's
has one
for
too.
cold.
But you can just wear it like for a blanket too, and then.
Yeah.
I honestly think you just find a really good 20 bag that's like, if it's warm, you just sleep with one leg out and just cool off. And then when you actually need it more, like on that, where it was a nice warm day and it got chilly for, say, 3 hours.
Yeah.
In the evening, it's nice to have like that just in case. Like, I think there's a good balance there.
This last one I had it's a Mountain Hardwear. It's like a 0 degree. And it was just like, I like to sleep in puffy pants, and then I'll just leave the bag open and use that as like a blanket.
Okay.
And it's like, I'd rather be able to control my temperature that way. Because it's like, once you get cold, it's just not.
It's hard to warm up.
It's hard to warm up. You don't sleep good, and that just messes with everything.
Oh, it's so hard to warm your feet.
Do you feel like you'd rather cool than try to warm?
Yeah.
Like in a sleeping bag?
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, it's easy to just zip it open further than like sitting there shaking.
Yeah, or trying to like bundle up and layer to get warm.
Luckily, with Kodiak, we'll be in a cabin. I won't be.
Yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
right. You mentioned that. That's
shivering.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
like
real
if
nice.
anything, like we'll suffer.
You gotta go by the cidery. Are you guys gonna go to the town?
I'm so excited.
Okay. Go see Gideon.
I mean,
over there.
I remember like back in May when we were at the sheep show, you know, and Jack was like, "Oh, I gotta go to like some top secret." I was like, "Ooh, I know what that means."
It's popping. It's nice over there.
Yeah, it looks great. I follow him on Instagram. Looks super cool. Like, it looks like it's thriving. So that's awesome.
You probably know
that community
Gideon
was
from back in the
waiting
day.
for
Was he in
Gideon
Anchorage?
was back in the borderline days. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, big
Sounds
time
familiar.
snowboarder, surfer. When you see him over there, you'll know.
Cool.
You'll know. Yeah.
So Jack's bopping back and forth? Or?
I think Gideon's. Yeah, he's there. Gideon's running it.
Oh, cool.
Him and his girl over there doing it. He's they got it popping. They got all kind of events going on.
Yeah, I saw it like Weekend Friday, and it's like they're doing all these outdoor like Halloween movies or something.
That's when. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's today? Tuesday. Yeah, Weekend Friday afternoon.
Oh, right on. How's the weather looking?
I try not to look anymore.
Yeah, don't. You're going in.
I mean, I looked like a few days ago, and it was like sun for like 5 days. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then I looked the other day, and it was like wind, rain, snow, sleet. And I'm like, fuck.
all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not even worth looking until you leave the day.
No, I just
And then
like
even
I just
that-
want to make sure
And
we
even
get
then
out of
it lies.
Kodiak. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to make sure. Like, I'll get stuck over there any day. Just let me get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's like we're getting to Kodiak Friday, staying the night, and then flying over the next morning over to Larston Bay.
I'm stoked. You bringing the camera? Oh, she's bringing all her stuff. You guys gonna make a video?
I think she's gonna film.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should.
And I'll like snap some things here and there, and
Well, tell her we need her on. I know I had communicated with her like when we first started.
cool.
And you know she lives in Oregon, but she's in Sitka a lot. I want to say.
Yeah, her husband is in the Coast Guard, and so it's like she comes up here and hunts with him. Like, I think he's getting ready to retire soon.
Is she still doing her pod? Didn't she? Okay.
Yeah, I think she might actually be bringing her stuff. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
In the field pod.
In the field
Yeah, we wanna do
pod.
Have you slept in teepee yet?
No. Trying to. Just kidding, Alexia. You'll be there too.
I think he was more or less saying you should get one. And
Got it.
Hey.
should get a TP.
The show's over.
And that's it. Well, you were talking. We talked about your sheep hunt, and obviously you pack tents. You got to like experience that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to ask, like, kind of in a nutshell, how was that sheep hunting experience? As you obviously you're preparing for your Kodiak hunt, a little different cabins.
Sure.
Obviously, potential if you guys went maybe too far away from camp, you could be spending the night if you guys were into doing something like that. But this was like a totally different
Sheep
experience. Like, you did the full 10 days, right?
sheep hunt. We were out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, see, that's why I wanted to ask you, because that's a really, really long time.
No shit.
Like 7 to 10 days is a long time, but
So that's
what's it, like 12 nights in a tent?
Well,
total?
this was different for me. It's like my little experience of mountain hunting was like, okay, you go somewhere, you hike in, or you get dropped off, and like that's where you are for 10 days. You know, my longest was 16 days out. But when Zach and I went out, it was like, okay, well, we're going to be road hunting. We're not getting dropped anywhere. and that affords you, I guess, some opportunities to be more mobile and move around if you don't see anything. So the best way I can kind of like describe what we did was like power road hunting, I would guess. Something I've never really done before, but it was like he was familiar with some spots and, had some history with some different sheep, seen them before and whatnot. And it was like we'd get to an area, we'd glass, and then like make a beeline in, whether that like we move spots probably like 4 or 5 times in the span of 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like sometimes drove 6 hours to a new spot, sometimes, drove 2 hours to another spot. But we would get there, pack, like, okay, we're going to pack for 3 or 4 nights or 5 nights. And, like, we would hike in sometimes 5 miles, sometimes 15 miles, stay, like, a day, like, glass and, like, hike hard, like, in, like, that area. And if we didn't see anything, then we
pulled out of there.
Let's hike and move somewhere else, which is like has worked for him in the past. So I can't fault him on that, and he's been quite successful. Yeah, that was just a very new experience.
Yeah, and you ran into a successful hunter during the hunt, right?
Yep, we did, and we helped him meet some of his backstrap, which was cool.
We'll help you out with that.
Like, I'll just go ahead and eat another chunk of that.
Sure, I wonder if that strategy that's like a lower 48. Kind of strategy.
That'd be a good question to ask him. Yeah, I'm not.
Because that's how we met Zach.
Yeah. On the side of the road.
Because he was doing the same kind of deal. Like he had already gone up this valley and he was going to go up where we had gone up. And it just seems to me like that's that Western style, because you have so much access to different entry points and ranges and valleys and stuff like that, where you could go in and check it out and then come out to your truck and go to the next spot.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like we've decided we're going here and we're going deep.
Right. Well, yeah. Whether you do that by foot or whether you decide you're going to get dropped somewhere, and then you still see other people. Like that's kind of like how it is. And I'm grateful that he let me like tag along with him. Otherwise, I was maybe going to go with Chad, but he ended up going with somebody else. I was just grateful to get out. It's all a learning experience every time you
especially going with new people, and I'm sure. When you go on this trip, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff. It's all learning, just what other people, what their gear they have and how they approach it. And
for sure, and especially the fact that like none of us have ever hunted Kodiak before. Like that's going to be,
I prefer that. Yeah. I would like, cause when we did the Brooks, like we never been, us three were just our first time. Like, let's just go in there and see. Yeah. And then you learn so much, which I'm sure you will. Like the first time we went to a certain point and we're so deep. We're so deep. And then we're looking and like, next time we come out, we got to go to the next valley. But man, that third one is the one we want to get to. And by the third year, we're like in the 4th valley. Like, oh man, we should be going to the 6th valley. It just progresses into, figuring out what your limits are and your group's limits are.
Sure.
And then like, how can you push it further the next time?
And how deep is deep?
Yeah.
Because like your first year deep and your 4th year deep are like vastly different.
Yeah.
Scratching the surface.
Exactly.
And you're like, man, we went through so much shit, man. We did like 37 miles. The next year we did 90.
Yeah, right.
Whoa. Damn, you can go way further than we thought that first time. And all that.
We did do 90, man. That's insane.
Well, you mentioned 2 weeks, man. That's like a lot of hunting.
It was.
I mean, so there was a couple nights sleeping at the truck too, maybe in between?
Yeah, a couple nights in the truck, couple nights.
A fire here and there and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then,
well, that's a cool experience, man. I mean, versus
around like
just
week or a day like 7 and 8, like we went on a long drive and completely switched locations and got like the reprieve of like a quick shower and some laundry real quick and a meal.
Yeah. That's not just a full reset.
Yeah, so that was cool. And it really did kind of fly by. It's like,
but
it's
just
like
running and gunning the whole time.
Yeah, but it's like we left on a Sunday and I came home 2 Sundays later, and it's just like, God, that was 2 weeks. We were out chasing. Yeah. So it was cool. We saw lots of stuff, saw lots of bears, lots of caribou, handfuls of sheep. So yeah, it was cool.
Still
super grateful.
experience.
And then, that's when I got invited to go the like 2 weeks later with Courtney and her husband, and then Zach again, on what was going to be her sheep hunt turned like caribou / bear / essentially opportunity. Like everybody had tags for everything.
Oh, that's the best.
Yep.
And it was like, we are ready to just like crush it all. And we were out for 7 days and saw some things, but couldn't make it happen. And that's just, you know, built some of these relationships. And it's like, I met Derek through Zach, and Derek was the one that was like, hey, want to come, you know, shoot a goat? Like, you let me and my girlfriend stay at your house. Like, I'm going to return the favor. And I'm like,
that's what it's about.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And that was one where I was like, can't say no. Hold on. Let me get these trades figured out. Like, I'm like, when are we going? And he was like, on Saturday. I'm like, what is today? And he's like, Thursday. I was like, fuck. Like, it was a scramble and kind of
and you thought you weren't going to go.
Logistical. And like, I missed the first window.
Right. He's like, goats down.
They got successful. I was getting these messages like, goat down. Oh, make that too. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So then, I was like, bags packed, like already like making moves. I was like, okay, if I can get my shift tomorrow covered, like, can we go out? And that's when I looked at the forecast, and it was like 10 and 2, sunny. Like first sunny day that Valdez had seen. I was like, if I don't go, like, this is where I'll slip my wrist. Yeah. for sure. And like, I was packing my bags, like simultaneously, like making text, phone calls, like, can you work for me tomorrow? Like, knowing that I was going to get it covered. And essentially I was like sitting in my truck with it in reverse, like waiting for a response from somebody. And as soon as he was like, yep, got you, it was like, skirt.
I'm out.
And I was on the road. Like,
that's awesome.
Made it happen. And it was so cool.
What do you like to do as far as food wise? Like when you go on some extended trips?
Cool.
Like where you at now, as like you've really getting going now.
Yeah.
And you know, as we've done stuff and you try different things and you're like, what's working for me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious, like where you're at, where you were at maybe, and where you're at now, and what you're thinking for coming up.
Like, I love making my own like breakfast concoctions. Like I'll buy 1 or 2 of like a Mountain House or something of like the granola ones. Mm-hmm. But then I'll make like, depending on how many days I'm out, like 6 or 7 in a Ziploc bag, all my favorite things. And then I'll just use the one bag that I use from like a Mountain House. And then after I eat that one, pour that in and make a hot meal the next day.
Okay.
So just a bunch of little Ziplocs of like, I put in there like flax, granola, sometimes like collagen, like a protein powder, like freeze dried blueberries or whatever, like all the things that like I love.
Yeah.
And have all my own breakfast. That's essentially what I'm doing for Kodiak, because it's like we're bringing our own food. Like I'm food prepping this week, gonna make like salmon chowder, cornbread, you know, and like seal it, like freeze it.
Cornbread's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna cook bacon and eggs?
Not gonna bacon. I might bring some like bear bacon that I have from.
Not bringing the greasy Coleman grill and the propane and the cast iron?
Don't have to. It's like there's
what's set up over there?
It's like there's like a community.
I'm just thinking cabin. It's like bacon, eggs, and pancakes. And
Yep.
Backstrap.
We're kind of like weight at this point too. It's like we're bringing like a tote full of like food for us, and then hopefully it'll be back with meat on the way back.
Yeah. Good strategy.
You know, I like freeze drying or like making my own little treats, you know, to bring back there. But it's like some people just crush candy. You know, it's like everybody's got like what they're into.
You're speaking his language here.
Yeah, is that kind of how you gals went about like the process too? As far as like, hey, like we'll have these staples, but then you bring your own treats that you want. Like,
I think so. So, because Courtney's coming up from out of state, and I think she's in the process of moving from one house to another. She's just relying on like already her meals that she's got easy peasy. And then Kristen and I are doing some food prep of meals that we're going to share with some other people that are going to be at the cabin. And she's going to make like a monster lasagna, I think.
Oh, okay.
And then just, cram as much, like my one like favorite treat, whether like mountain hunting or whatever, love cinnamon whiskey. I know you guys were talking about like nightcaps and cocktails like a few pods back, and it's like that is like my go-to. Like cinnamon whiskey and hot chocolate is like coming back.
I've never done the hot chocolate.
That's like your little treat before bed.
Oh my gosh,
that's her sessy.
The sessy.
That'll put me to sleep in a second.
What we would do is every guy would bring their own like favorite tea or their powder or chocolate or whatever, and we would make a sessy. What would we call it? A cesspool of everyone's stuff. And so we would just be like, "Oh, we're gonna add some
makes
of
it sound cute. Like cesspool's like, but
well, sometimes it is.
As soon as like making that sessy, we're just like, ooh.
Isn't that like when at the bartender at the bar, like when they grab the bar mat and like throw
everything?
I forget what it's called. That's fucking gross.
That's probably.
But the sessy's so good and so hot, and you're just like, oh man, it's.
But literally anything tastes good.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the backcountry, like after a long day of just a grind, it's like you could throw any treat in front of me and be like, oh my God, that tastes like gold.
Yeah. Well, going to bed with a belly full of something warm is like just a comfort. And it's just like, you know, your belly's full, you go into a bag, it just like radiates. It just.
Yeah. What's
core
your
heat.
favorite? If you had to have one freeze dried meal, what would it be? Your favorite?
I got mine.
Yeah, I'm thinking the stroganoff.
Really?
Peak?
Yeah, peak strogie. If I just was stuck with one, it's the strogie and some hot sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. Strogie and some hot sauce.
I think I'm on that pad thai.
Ooh.
Oh, the backpackers one.
Girl, that's a heavy.
Dude,
sauce.
It is.
Tell me you don't eat that whole thing.
Hell no. That's like
you can
a sequential.
share that.
Yeah, that is heavy. That is probably the heaviest meal.
Anytime I've ever eaten that, I'm passing it to somebody to finish, or like, here, have bites of this. Like,
it's all. I like
can't.
That is a good. The other heavy one is the biscuits and gravy with peak one, the morning one, dude. I had it. A good thing I saved it on the rain day. There was no way I could hike with that.
Oh my God, you're out.
Throw that in your gut.
Yeah, okay, let's climb up 4,000 feet.
It's coming out one under the other.
Yeah.
Just a lead weight in your stomach.
I think mine is that peak, the sweet pork.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That sweet pork.
Do you bring tortillas? I know a lot of people do that. Like bring torts.
I have.
Like wrap them in that.
I do naan bread now. Because it's a little bit thicker and it doesn't get broken.
Yeah.
And it could stay good for a long time. And there's like flavored ones
too.
Flavored naan?
Yeah. Now there's like Greek flavored or like turmeric or different flavored ones that I found, which are really good because they just stay good and they're hearty. You know what I mean? Because I've done the bagels, I've done the tortillas, because you need that kind of like carb. I'm a big rice guy, you know, from South America. Like, I actually would love to bring rice. That's actually a really good idea. So anytime I do like
some instant.
I do when I do like any other hunt, whether if it's not a mountain hunt, a backpack hunt, I always have rice.
Cool.
I always do rice. Gotta have it.
Oh, definitely.
I just feel full with rice.
Yeah, I wanted that sweet and sour pork idea too, but I think that would just get burnt out.
Yeah.
I mean, anything gets burnt out because I thought the chili mac and beef was the number one. Isn't that everybody's favorite at first?
That wasn't.
Or maybe your intro.
That's just you, B.
Yeah.
That's just me. Well, I thought. Okay, let me like tell you. It tasted the original Mountain House. It tasted like authentic. Like it didn't taste so freeze driedy. Like
when you mix up
fake.
your brands and mix up like which ones, it's like it makes them all seem a little new.
Yeah. I know they're like original chili mac and beef from Mountain House.
It's classic.
Like, it tasted like if you made it or close to it. The other ones were just always kind of like, man, it's like it's trying too hard.
I'll give you a shout out on that strogie because I had it for the first time. I have a white cream phobia for everyone listening. I can't do mayonnaise or like Alfredo sauce or any kind of like white. I don't know, man.
Not even pasta sauce?
No, that's if it's white. I
sour
can't.
cream?
Nope. I can't. It's just.
How about creme fraiche, bro?
No.
Oh, come on.
I was ruined
what about
as a child. No, I can't.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Is it that like white, like
it's
really
like the
milky,
like Mexican, like
it's good.
Sour cream.
Yeah, sour cream.
So good, dude.
I know. It looks good. You know what really looks good to me is that, like, when
dude.
people eat, like, cottage cheese with, like, fruit and stuff in, I was like, oh, that looks so good, but yet so gross.
It's delicious.
I don't know, man. I was forced to eat this stuff when I was a kindergartner, and like, that's what it was. I went to this private school, and every day it was, like, white bread, bologna sandwich, and, like, a shit ton of mayo. And I hated mayo, and I had to eat it every single day for, like, 2 years.
It's like prison.
Yeah, private school. And
like
and it just ruined me. I think that's what it was. Like, I attested to that. Like, I can't. And I deal with condiments all the time in my business, and I just, oh man, it just.
You don't serve the mayo.
But I went over and I did, because like you said,
personal problem.
everything is delicious when you're out there and been struggling and
Yeah.
been just like depleting your body. I had that Strogie.
Shmoney.
It was a life-changing experience.
It was really, 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 really. But with the hot sauce, that's
Well,
a good
what about
looking-
the mayo with the tuna on the naan
Okay,
bread?
so I can do that once a year.
Oh,
Only,
yeah.
That sounds like prison food.
only when I'm sheep hunting can I do
kinda is,
tuna fish with a naan bread, and I bring one packet of mayo. I do, and it is so good.
I
It's
watched
so
you do
good.
it.
Yeah,
I'm like, this dude's a fucking hypocrite.
Somebody get this on camera.
I'm like, this guy right now, man. Just all this, like, what are you doing? How do you like it here, but not on a hot dog? Like, it
so funny.
makes no sense to me.
I see you.
I see you, man.
yeah.
He likes a lettuce wedge. That's mayo-based dressing, blue cheese.
It's not my number one.
I mean, you will eat
I
them.
guess I'm trying to like expand it, but they got me in kindergarten, man. They got me.
The white people shit.
Thanks for saying that. I can't say that. I get
I'm
canceled.
saying it. I'm saying it because it's just like that's what
Because we're white.
yeah,
they were white.
yeah.
But
He's not.
Well, bologna and just like the whole, it's such an American processed
Yeah.
thing that.
And then I'm coming from
Kids
like
have
a
been
family
eating for
that's eating
years.
like crazy like Hispanic food every day, and then every day
It's
for lunch,
authentic, yeah.
I have to have like this nasty thing. I'm like, oh, just ruined me. Iced tea too. They used to make me drink iced tea.
bologna sandwiches.
I cannot stand iced tea either because of that.
Just ruin you.
Ruin me.
Just ruin your
Ruin me.
palate.
Emily, what? So you got the Kodiak trip coming up, and what else have you been able to not say no to coming up?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, Kodiak was one big one looking forward to, and then
Texas.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I want to look that up.
Got invited for an Audad hunt end of January in
That's
Texas. I haven't said yes, haven't said no, but it's definitely like I know you're looking at me sideways right now. Like,
I'm like, well, based on your FOMO trends of behavior,
I know.
it sounds like to get invited and not go, it'll just eat you up inside, and then
will.
you're gonna have to go. So
The only other things I have to consider, my brother's 40th birthday is in January, and I think we're going to do like a Whistler ski trip or something somewhere. So it's just a matter of
swinging all that.
calendaring everything appropriately, which I'm usually good at working out.
Hit the trade phone. Hit that
Yeah.
trade phone. Just has a
That's
little orange blinking light.
Yep. But it's so funny because
It's at every station, like,
Right.
oh, what is this
Oh,
fool
quick!
trying to do?
Thompson
What is
Station
this
9
fool
needs a
trying-
trade. Somebody get on it quick! And like mine go quick, you know.
Just
'cause it's
flyers,
Station
just-
9.
Oh, they
Everybody
want
wants.
to go there.
Absolutely. So
You're hot.
that's why when I couldn't get
Spot.
the first trade for that goat hunt, I was like, "There's no way. Like nobody's not taking this trade right now," and I couldn't go because
You're
nobody
like,
picked it up. Yeah. But then, yeah, when I tried for the second shot, it worked out. Yeah, so that one would be end of January. I don't necessarily have any other crazy trip. I feel like, you know, the year's kind of like winding down. Actually, John Sturgeon's son and daughter-in-law, my best friend, they're probably going to go with him over to Nashville in February for like a Safari Club international deal. And I was like, she's like, do you want to go? I was like, yep. She's like, do you need to know what? Nope.
Nope, just count me in.
So that's February. And then it's like, God, then we're already almost like in spring, you know?
Then you're planning
to the-
on
Straight
And
to
it
the meat party.
starts, meat parties, spring bear, and it all kind of starts over. It's like I just am creating my own, you know, annual things. And it was cool. I met up with John maybe like a month or so ago, or probably 2 months. And I was like, John, I want to get involved like a little bit more. Not even really knowing like what that fully meant. But so we had a great lunch, swapped some stories, swapped photos, and then just a few weeks ago, I ended up getting a phone call from somebody at Safari Club that lives in Eagle River. And she's like inviting me to all these things, come to this Christmas party. Oh, we're going to meet at this brewery and just like have a get together. I'm like, this is awesome,
Yeah,
and
no
it's like, you just gotta, and I said this to you on the phone, it's kind of like dating. Like you gotta put yourself out there a little bit and find like groups that click and don't click, and some are going to work and some aren't.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just kind of had to like tell John that like, hey, this is something like I'm into, and like, I don't know what that fully means, but I know I want to be involved a little bit more. And so it's she was like, well, it was great. We talked on the phone for probably like an hour, just swapped some stories. And she's like, well, let me know if you ever have like another girls hunt, and I'm like, well, fuck, like I'm barely putting this one together. It's like, it's cool that like, I mean, I know you knew that I was going, Brandon, and you reached out and were like, hey, and it just felt like pretty cool. Like, like you get like a circle or, some connections made, and then things get reciprocated. Like with Courtney, it's like now she's coming, and I feel like I'm learning like that's kind of how it all works. Yeah. And it's pretty cool. And like, kudos to John. Obviously, he's like, I didn't even know he was giving my number to people. You know what I mean? I get this text. She's like, hey, my name's Ruth. I'm with Safari Club, and, John gave me your number. And I'm like, awesome. What's up? Like, what does this mean?
I wanted this phone call.
Yeah. And so, like, there's like a Christmas party at the Marriott, whatever, in December. And I'm like, cool. Like, that sounds fun. I like to party.
I can make that work. Let me check my calendar.
Oh, look, wide open.
Count me in.
Yeah, so it's been pretty cool. I'm kind of just like figuring out like the things that I want to do and like trying to figure out how to make them happen, by like surrounding myself with the right people.
Yeah, I mean, take advantage of your like unique circumstance and like the time. Like, man, if anybody can do it, it's you. And like, I'm envious. Like, I'm envious that you can have the time, because it's like if you're just working a grind in a day job and you kind of doing this thing, you're so limited to the access and opportunities for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
it is
invigorating to hear it from somebody that's doing it. And like, I mean, and you're passionate about it, you love it, and it's growing, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, it'll be cool to get over there this time. And it's like, yeah, I do want to create like my own type of like annual thing. It's like, I don't have 54 years in like John does, but it's like, you got to start somewhere,
It's never too late to start, or like, is there...
Yeah, so cool. Like, we get to go over there next year, or whoever. It's like, I wanna start like a thing that it's like, okay, every year I know this is what's happening. Like, this week of the year,
it's blocked.
It's your own traditions and things that you create.
Yeah. And
it can happen anytime.
it's like it's hard to get that foot in. So whether it's like you don't get that foot in, or maybe you do, but like you also got to like take the responsibility to make your own foot in. So
That's right.
Take the step.
That's right. Well, Emily, we appreciate you coming in and chatting with us, and just your excitement and passion that it's just like coming out of your pores. It's intoxicating. I hope that other women and men are excited. Just hearing you talk about your like almost like a newfound passion and still learning. So I appreciate you coming in and being open and honest with us about that. And I wish you a lot of luck on the things that you got coming up. And hopefully one day we can go on a trip.
Oh, my God. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, because we don't know. I mean, we know each other in so many different capacities. But, like, hunting, like, isn't necessarily one of them. So it'd be super cool. And that's what I think about Chad, too. It's like when he was talking about, like, going on a sheep hunt together. I'm like, well, I know we know each other, but like we don't know each other in that like that means. And he's like, yeah, but I know you're a tough ass bitch, or like something along those lines. I'm like, well, you got that right, So it's like I'm not worried about it. I'm like, okay, me neither.
Yeah,
That's so great. It'd be cool.
Get confidence in you, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I felt like a really cool connection when we did the banquet. this year together. And of course, we partied and had a great time. Like,
Yeah.
it was a fun night. But
Alexia wants to come this time, she said.
I felt like,
God.
I know. Well, I mean, there was a time
Yeah.
where wifeys came and it was like, I'm not really into that. I was like, all right, cool. At least you tried it out.
Yeah.
And if it's not
Next.
for you, I mean, we're going to go.
Not
Yeah.
next.
And then last year was like, I think the banquet was kind of a side note, maybe.
We
The
crushed
gathering?
it. We
Yeah.
crushed
We won the
it.
hell out of some shit, rifles and scopes and boots. But I guess what I'm getting at is like just the health and like camaraderie of that like collective group and like what we're all passionate about, what we want to do. Like that's exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Just you do those things and you make those connections, and then it just keeps on like spreading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just like keeps spawning out, and it's like, it's a great feeling, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, you can just do your thing and like, I just do this and I kind of loner, or maybe I have my like group and we just do our moose hunt every year. But like, it is pretty fun to get yourself out there and open up opportunities, even though if you may not go and do them or maybe not able to do it, but like to at least put yourself out there and find out if there's other opportunities and really cool people.
You gotta fuck around and find out.
You do, man. And like,
You got to fuck around and find out. That's right.
Badass. And yeah, thanks for coming in, Emily.
Appreciate it.
This was a lot of fun.
Super fun.
Yeah.
You guys can support the podcast by going to patreon.com/Alaska Wild Project. You can go to alaskawildproject.com and buy a shirt or a hoodie, or if you're in town in Anchorage, go ahead and stop by Barney's. That is also supporting us. Leave them a message, leave us a review. Reach out, man. We appreciate the people email in on anything they hear, anything that maybe we got wrong or something. We love all those messages. Any final thing?
Yeah, give us the feedback, and the merchandise is stocked.
Yep.
Yeah, Alaska Wild Project. Buy something, help us out, so we can keep the pod going.
Yep. We appreciate you, Alaska. Thank you, Emily. Alaska, stay wild.
You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit arborcapital.io today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce cards, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Snow Pro AK, your snow and ice management company specializing in business and residential properties. They know what it takes to keep your property presentable and safe. Give them a call for a free estimate at 280-7098 or visit lawnproak.com. Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th, handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.